is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Mostly sunny 29 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
It's the final full day on the hustings for Stephen Marshall and Peter Malinauskas before we head to the polls tomorrow. The opposition leader will be joined by his federal counterpart Anthony Albanese. The pandemic, health and jobs have dominated the campaign trail. Political expert Professor Hayden Manning says both leaders have strengths and weaknesses.
Well, I think with Malinauskas, you can paint the picture. He hasn't been a long-serving minister. His experience isn't that evident. With regard to the Premier, is he too friendly, too affable? Is he, as the Prime Minister said, Mr. Smiley? Does he lack a capacity, if you like, to go a bit nasty?
And Anthony Albanese will join David and Will on breakfast after 7:30 this morning. It's a case of deja vu when it comes to COVID in SA. Case numbers are growing and so are the lines at COVID testing sites across Adelaide. 4,474 infections were reported yesterday. 132 people are in hospital, 8 in ICU. There are now just over 19,500 active cases across the state. A new testing regime will try to estimate the extent of hidden COVID cases in the community. Madeleine McNeil has more.
The National Surveillance Program is being launched to work out how many people in Australia may have caught COVID-19 but didn't realise. Thousands of blood samples will be tested for COVID antibodies, which appear when someone has been infected. The program will identify those who had the virus but were asymptomatic or who didn't get tested if they had symptoms. Experts believe Omicron infections could have been up to 10 times higher than what was detected during the initial wave of the variant.
Military chiefs say Russia's offensive in Ukraine has been stalled for several days. Europe correspondent Brett McLeod has more.
The latest Ministry of Defence update in Britain says Russian forces have made minimal progress on land, sea and air in recent days, and they continue to suffer heavy losses. US officials estimate 7,000 Russian troops have been killed so far and between 14 and 21,000 injured. Meantime, Britain's Defence Secretary says he had a call from someone pretending to be Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a trick he blamed on Russia.
Arnold Schwarzenegger wants the Russians to know what's really going on and not fall for the Putin propaganda. He's posted a video message telling them to look beyond the lies of their leader.
I'm sending this message through various different channels to reach my dear Russian friends and the Russian soldiers serving in Ukraine. I'm speaking to you today because there are things that are going on in the world that are being kept from you. Terrible things that you should know about.
It's World Sleep Day. We're being reminded to prioritise sleep to avoid a number of health issues in coming years. The Sleep Health Foundation's Dr. Moira Junger says the accumulation of poor sleep over time can have serious physical and mental implications.
Cardiovascular, poor health, risk of dementia, obesity, type 2 diabetes, obviously accidents and injuries are a higher risk as well, and also we're at much more higher risk of mental health conditions.
Now to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. New Carlton coach Michael Voss has led the Blues to an emphatic 25-point win over Richmond, snapping the Blues' decade-long round one losing streak against the Tigers. A spectacular 7-1 last quarter saw the Blues come back from 20 points down. Voss says the pre-season has helped set up the win.
High performance team have gone to work on being able to build their bodies, and they gave themselves a chance by coming back in really good condition. Coaches have gone to work on putting a training environment around them that demands a little more.
The loss soured for Richmond, with midfielder Dion Prestia suffering a hamstring injury while veteran Jack Revolt broke his thumb. Well, Nick Kyrgios will face Rafael Nadal in the quarterfinals at the Indian Wells Masters this morning after a walkover win over Yannick Sinner. The pair have clashed 8 times in their careers, with Nadal holding the advantage 5-3. Nadal says when Kyrgios is fit and focused, he's one of the best on tour.
Nick is difficult in any conditions. No? When he's playing well and when he's excited and motivated, he's one of the toughest opponents, without a doubt.
Briefly, elsewhere, the Adelaide Lightning has defeated the UC Capitals 81-50 in the WNBL to cement their spot in the top 4 of the competition. Craig Bellamy has made his 500th match as coach one to remember, as the Melbourne Storm beat South Sydney 15-14 overnight. And four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel has been ruled out of this weekend's season-opening Grand Prix in Bahrain after contracting COVID. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, mostly sunny 29 today, sunny tomorrow 31, Sunday mostly sunny and 30. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
6:06, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. Coming up on the program this morning, Anthony Albanese will join us live in the studio after 7:30. Both the local campaigns have rolled in some federal muscle. It's Albo in the case of Peter Malinauskas. We had John Howard in the other day, who was out in the hustings with Stephen Marshall. It's all on the eve of Election Day, so our election wrap is going to be a big one later today. You'll hear some final thoughts from both the men who would be Premier come Monday morning. That's after 8 o'clock today, as is Orazio Fantasia for the first time in season 2021, the Port Adelaide star. Let's hope he gets over his little stuff that he's battling with personally and he can be part of that powerhouse Port Adelaide forward line. Lord Mayor Sandy Verschoor after 8:30. There's lots of state local government entanglements with the state election that we'll tease out with Sandy Verschoor. And Arman Abrahimzadeh will join us as well. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, folks. Deploy the cliches. It all comes down to this. Is it too close to call? Will it be a cliffhanger? It's going to go right down to the wire. Hand-to-hand combat, mano a mano in the must-watch marginals.
Yeah.
You could create a computer program that spits out election night dross along those lines, and I'll tell you one thing, our pledge tomorrow, particularly after the third beer kicks in, you won't get that kind of garbage on 5AA.
Break the algorithm.
Yeah, break the computer program, 10:30 onwards, not just on the wireless, but through the miracle of the Facebook. We're going to be on Facebook as well. So there'll be images of us on a screen on Facebook.
Yeah. You're talking about this as though it's not happening right now, David.
Oh, that's true. I forget. Oh, everyone. But my son's coming in.
Yes.
Jimbo.
He's apparently sort of Anthony Green in training.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a bit of a session tonight and just...
What is that, a psophologist?
Psophologist, the art of vote reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, the science of reading votes. He's I mean, you know, you can have the sort of savant Anthony Green, who's memorised every booth in the country, like he's Rain Man. Very good at it, I suppose. Very excitable, Anthony Green.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. That's the Bradley Grove booth in Mitchell Park. That's since 1844. That's always been a very tough booth for the Liberals to win. I think if you go back to Tom Playford's second term, probably won't get that same level of granular detail from my son. He's just going to be hitting refresh on the Electoral Commission website.
He'll have a youthful approach. You might look at things in a different way.
Yeah, well, exactly. A lot of it probably through following the betting markets as well, which
it's a very modern way of looking at it, actually.
It's a pretty reliable way of looking at it.
Well, yeah, the money's not silly.
Or is it? Because the markets say Stephen Marshall has pretty well lost.
Yeah, but the markets are just a reflection of sentiment.
Who's betting on what?
Yeah, that's right. The thing that's interesting about the markets is there's a lot of people that kind of have inside information they're allowed to bet on this. It's not like...
Oh, totally.
It's not like Rory Sloane can't have a bet on the Freo game on Sunday.
No.
There'll be a lot of people in political offices that have a clue that are having a bet. Guaranteed.
So the Tizer contacted me, Sunday Mail contacted me, Paul Ashenden, the editor there of the Mail, and he said, hey, can you give us we just need a little box, like the footy tipping.
Yep.
Where they're going to ask, 20 other folks, who's going to win? How many seats? And I've written it. I've said Labor are going to win, but I'm not convinced.
Majority, 24?
Yes, they're going to win 4 seats, I've said. Well, no, so they're going to have to rely on...
Okay. So Bedford. They're going to have 23 plus Bedford. Yep.
So I've got the Libs losing 4 seats.
Yep.
Labor gaining 4.
Okay.
But I'm not totally convinced. In fact, after a couple of conversations I had yesterday, one with a very senior government person who was door knocking in Elder, which is the inner southern seat round Edwardstown, Carolyn Power, up against Nadia Clancy from the Labor Party. Nadia's got a good profile because she ran for Boothby at the last federal election, so she's already doorknocked the whole area, probably 3 times. But Carolyn Power's got a big personal vote, largely because of Labor stuffing up badly over the repat. Now, that seat is at 2%. If Labor don't win that seat, then they've got to suddenly jump high up the queue because the next bracket of seats are all 6% and above. Yep. So there's no seats between the 2% and 6% band. So if Labor don't win one of those 4, and this minister said to me he was out there for several hours and not one person, and he said maybe they're just being polite. But he said, I did not meet anybody who said they weren't going to vote for us. And he said the other thing is a lot of them unsolicited talked about the repat. Now, the other person I saw last night was the Premier. I bumped into him when I was doing a thing for Sky, and the bloke had a real spring in his step, and he probably knows more about what their own internal polls say than what newspaper polls say.
That's been consistent since we spoke to him a week ago.
Maybe there's just deliberately showing him made up happy polls so that he doesn't, lie under his doona drinking tequila in the morning. Because you've got to keep wheeling the bloke out.
Going. There is an element of this that we don't talk about much, and there is some weirder things can happen, or maybe fewer weird things can happen when you don't have as many seats. There's only 47 seats. It's not like there's 156 like federal parliament where, if we don't get that one, we can get this one. As you said, there are only 4 marginals. Right. So if any one of those for local reasons holds up, well, then you start to look, as you say, to places that will require a dramatic reason for a change.
Yeah.
So it gets hard. It can get hard really quickly to change an incumbent in South Australia when at any given moment you're only talking about 4 or 5 seats.
Yeah.
That's all there is. So one of those falls out that you need, and the equation suddenly skyrockets in degree of difficulty. So as you said, Elder, they hold on Elder. Okay, do you go Colton? Geez, 6.2%. Well, that's getting serious. Do you go to Hartley? 6.6. Then you get to Dunstan that you would need one of these sorts of seats. Nord, Marshall seat. Like it can get hard. It can get complicated quickly if you stuff up locally somewhere.
See, I reckon what could happen. This is my hunch. So I think Labor will probably win like 3 of the 4. But then I think there'll be one weird one that'll go their way. And I think it might be Davenport, as much as it pains me to say that, because Muzz, if you're listening, Steve Murray, the sitting Liberal member, is a really good bloke.
8.2%.
Yeah. A lot of Labor people think they've got a huge show in Davenport.
Okay. So if that happens, it changes the maths the other way. You
right.
peel off one of those ones that's a bit more difficult, then life gets a lot easier for you if you're Labor.
So the other thing I haven't really said, though, is I actually think it's eminently plausible that Cregan and Troy Bell, potentially, will side with Labor.
That's entirely possible.
So I reckon that, if it gets down to real, in the weed stuff, I mean, Troy Bell's already potted the Premier in that letter that he sent out 3 days ago.
They've laid some groundwork.
Yes. Yeah, they have. They both of them have.
Yeah. Mark in Parry Hills has texted us and said on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line, don't worry about the election. Talk about Carlton's great win over the Tigers. Well done, Vossi.
What about that?
It was nice to see last night. We'll talk about it with Tom Wren. Carlton reversed years and years worth of suffering.
Wasn't it 10 years?
Yeah, I think 9 years. 9 years or 10 years. Rennie will know. We'll talk to him about it.
But it was always the game you didn't need to watch.
Exactly right.
I hated that game, but watching it last night...
It was a terrific game.
It was good standard.
72,000 people. Doesn't a crowd make a difference? The moment that Carlton fans realised that a decade worth of suffering was coming to an end, and the crowd just got 5% feral, was awesome.
They were going crazy, weren't they?
I love that moment in sport where an anguished fan base suddenly realises, hang on, we're going to win. We're going to do this. Yeah. And everyone gets a little bit crazy, and it felt like that last night. It was sensational.
How bad is their song, though?
Not a fan of the song.
You feel like you should be doing some sort of strip dance to it.
I bet it feels fun to sing. Thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. We have a wonderful meat tray to give away today. These guys do a fantastic job. We're asking you to sum up your suburb in 4 words. Describe your suburb in 4 words, or another person's suburb if you like. Whatever you like. Describe a suburb of Adelaide in 4 words.
Does it have to be 4 words?
Yeah, it has to be 4 words.
Oh, I thought it could just be like a slogan, like an election-style slogan.
In 4 words. You've got 4 words to do it.
Oh, I need to rework mine.
You've got 4 words.
Because mine was Wayville, it's showtime.
Okay,
Wayville, where it's showtime.
Wayville at showtime. Wayville at showtime. I came back from Bondi the other day in Sydney, and I reckon everything you need to know about that joint can be summed up in 4 words. Fake lips and Audis. That's it. That's all you need to know. If you hear those 4 words, you know everything you need to know about that part of Australia.
Bondi, I lived in Sydney for 12 years. I went to Bondi 3 times.
Yeah, this
it's
is the first time
it's
I've
another
been there in my
country,
life.
Bondi.
Oh my word, it is.
You get there and you think, these people.
It is something else.
It's like the show Lucy and I have been watching, Byron Bays.
Oh my goodness.
That program is just, it's about influencers. Brand managers and influencers.
God, sounds like a punishment.
Content creators.
Oh, yuck. 8223 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. Your 4 words to describe your suburb. Your 4 word slogan.
Have you done Grange? Have you got yours?
I'll do a Grange for you. I was too happy with my Bondi. I'll do that in a moment. News headlines coming up.
Have you ever wondered if retirement living would suit you? Come along to an FIVEAA open home and enjoy a sneak peek of the life you could lead. These free events are from the 29th to the 31st of March at 15 FIVEAA communities across Adelaide. You can explore the communities, walk through display homes and chat with our friendly team. Attendees must be vaccinated and all events will operate with a COVID-safe plan. Take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Home today. RSVP is essential.
If your business could do with more business, you should try advertising here on the radio. FIVEAA can help turn your brand into a household name. We could do it with a jingle, or a really funny ad, or something deadly serious. Our audience is big enough to fill Adelaide Oval again and again. Get in touch with FIVEAA to find out how we can give your business more business.
The 2022 AFL season is back, and so are the crowds, back to full capacity at the Adelaide Oval. And if you want the best seats in the house, become an exclusive Adelaide Oval football member.
Adelaide Oval football members get unrivalled access to the Western Stand to cheer along all Crows games and all Port games. Adult memberships start at $560, plus you also get lots of exclusive offers.
Footy is back, and so are the crowds. Join them, become an exclusive Adelaide Oval football member and get access to every single footy game throughout the season. Visit adelaideoval.com.au/membership.
Nothing beats that new car experience, and you'll still be feeling it long after you drive away in a new Corolla Hybrid from Jarvis Toyota. It's the iconic hatch, redefined with a 1.8-litre 90-kilowatt hybrid engine. It's already netted a bunch of awards with its game-changing sporty styling. The Corolla Hybrid is definitely made for fun. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Corolla Hybrid at Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park. Proudly celebrating 20 years of great deals.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
19 minutes after 6. For Grange, I'd say where Sturt settled down. The man who explored Australia went, this is as good as it gets. I'm going to live here.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a historical one for you.
The cottage is still there, isn't it?
It's magic. It's a beautiful little area, that walk through there. It's really nice.
A lot of weeping willows.
Yeah, oh, well, I didn't really get into the trees so much, but it all looks very nice, that's for sure. Andrew in Prospect, good morning.
Actually, I'm just ringing for my mum that lives in Joslin. And anyway, the Great Wall of China.
Thank you, Andrew.
That is excellent.
I think a lot of people in that area feel that way.
I was talking to someone in Sydney yesterday. He said, mate, that Chinese embassy story you did. He said, I still can't believe that thing's there. I said, yeah, it's pretty wild. I showed a mate who was over.
It is truly bizarre that it's there. It makes no sense.
Have you actually seen it physically in the flesh?
No.
Oh,
I've only
go
based on
and
your
have a look.
articles. Yeah,
Well, you get there.
I know the area,
because
though.
one of those things you read. Often you read articles in the paper and you think, oh yeah, they've probably taken the long handle to that.
Yeah.
But you actually get there and you go, what?
Yeah.
It's like this giant sort of chunk of, commie Big Brother sort of architecture right in the middle of the most utterly middle-class suburb you can imagine.
Bizarre. We're getting some fantastic texts. We're going to read them all out at 6:30, but just to give you a taste, one says, Lisbeth, skid marks, Holden Rex. Thank you for that.
Nice.
4 words to describe your suburb or a suburb for the meat trade this morning, and we'll read some more out after 6:30. It is World Sleep Day. Oh, that feels like rubbing it in to us. We're being reminded to prioritise sleep. Oh, I don't want to read this story.
Yeah, right.
Everything you read about this is just like, yeah, well, you're basically killing yourself. To avoid a number of health issues in coming years, I don't want to read any of this. Anyway, for those that will benefit, the Sleep Health Foundation's Dr. Moira Junger says the accumulation of poor sleep over time can have serious physical and mental implications.
Cardiovascular, poor health, risk of dementia, obesity, type 2 diabetes, obviously accidents and injuries are a higher risk as well. And also we're at much more higher risk of mental health conditions.
Oh, yeah, but look, other than that, we're all doing all right over here.
That's right. All I'll say is a good thing I haven't made any other bad lifestyle choices.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're in rude health otherwise.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going
to a Mallee Bull.
I want to keep that grab for every time my wife says my job isn't a real job.
Yeah, I might get the
radio. What do you
file
do?
of
You
that.
sit there and talk. Yeah.
Oh, you
And also
talk crap for 3 hours and go back to sleep, do you?
Yeah. Well, if we can, and if not, have a listen to what happens to us.
Well, I do. I have 2 sleeps. I have a
I generally have 2.
Medium sleep at night and a nana nap during the day. I mean, that's what they do in Latin America.
Yeah, but
a siesta.
Yeah, they still have one proper length sleep though, and then a siesta. Well, I don't think we have a proper length sleep.
I've had 6 hours overnight.
That's not really...
No, 5.5. I've had.
Yeah, I generally would have 5.5, and it's just not enough. As you've heard, I wish someone to do a study to reveal what the issues were.
Yeah, that's right.
South Australia is being hit by a second Omicron wave. A big number yesterday of infections, 4,474, albeit, as we know, that is not really a marker of anything. 132 people are in hospital, 8 are in ICU. That's the important bit. There are more than 19,500 active cases across the state. That hospitalisation number will be the one to keep an eye on. Australia is preparing to offer additional support for Ukraine. Defence and Foreign Affairs officials have been meeting with embassy officials in Canberra. The delivery of ammunition, rifles and anti-armour missiles could be in the country within the next 2 weeks. Rescue teams in the besieged Ukrainian city of Mariupol are searching for survivors of a Russian attack on a theatre where more than 1,000 people, mostly women and children, were hiding in a bomb shelter. There have been people that have been emerging from this wreck in just the last few hours. The historic theatre and had children written in large letters outside at the time of the attack. Joe English from the UN's children's charity UNICEF says it's a breach of international law.
We've all seen the images, and thankfully we're hearing the reports that the casualties may be low, but even low casualties, children killed and children injured. These are grave violations.
Certainly are.
Joe Biden said yesterday that Vladimir Putin's a war criminal. Anthony Blinken today, the Foreign Secretary, said he said he too believes that Vladimir Putin is a war criminal, and detailed at a press conference about an hour ago a long list of grievances that the West has.
Did you see Putin's response, though, where he's called the West scum?
Oh, well, is this the one where he talks about purification in Russia?
Oh, the guy is just
frightening language.
He's completely unhinged. He actually does sound like Hitler,
completely.
And the escalation in his voice, and then the sort of weird, sort of paternalistic attitude to the Russian people, where he said, "Oh, we're going to increase the payments for you. We know you are suffering," but when he talks about the oligarchs and he goes berserk, they're not Russian, they don't live here, but the language that he uses about putrefaction and he's just
he's a monster.
Absolute crackpot.
He's a monster. 29 is the expected top today. 31 tomorrow for polling day. 30 on Sunday. 31 on Monday. 26 will cool down. There'll probably be a shower in the place. It says a mil. Last time it said a mil, we got 10. So keep an eye on that. Then it gets really cool. 21 at the top on Wednesday and 21 for Thursday. 25 minutes after 6. We'll turn our attention to sport in a moment.
Is that one there? No. Oh, found one. Maybe not. Small car hiding behind the big ones. Oh, are they leaving? No, they're getting their bags out the back. I'll just do one more lap.
The worst part about shopping is you usually spend more time looking for a park than in the shops. Not at Newton Central. With access to over 500 car parks, you'll never have to do one more lap of the parking lot before you shop. Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
Eye health on healthy living, thanks to Specsavers.
Explain to the listeners about OCT technology. How long has it been around? Why is it so good?
So we've had it in common practice, in my practice, for about 4 to 5 years, and it's really changed everything about how we practice, to be honest.
Can you explain what actually happens during the OCT scan?
For years and years, we've always taken a photo of the back of your eye, and that was just what we call a fundus camera or a retinal camera, and it's just a bright flash of light, and the process really hasn't changed. Our OCT that we have in practice really is just a bright flash of light. It feels like you're having a photograph taken, but the information that we get from that photo is now a lot more extensive than what we did previously. And the patients that really would be best placed here are those that have a family history of glaucoma, those that have had a sudden change in their vision, diabetics, anybody who's at risk of serious eye disease.
Specsavers, where every eye test includes an OCT advanced 3D eye scan at no extra charge.
Home renovators have discovered the secret to updating the look and functionality of their homes. They found, David, Phantom Screens.
Oh, and they've never looked back since they found the screens. Phantom Screens, custom-made retractable door screens. They can be colour-matched to your existing decor. They span up to 7 metres wide. That's wide. They disappear out of sight when they're not in use. It's a screen that's there 1 minute and then gone the next.
Phantom's door screens stop the flies and the mozzies, not the view or ventilation. If you want uninterrupted views and natural ventilation combined with protection from insects, then you want Phantom Screens.
From the hills to the coast and everywhere in between, let the fresh air in with Phantom Screens. Get inspired online at phantomscreens.com.au.
She's like dying.
Explore Australia's biggest arts festival at Adelaide Fringe from the 18th of February to the 20th of March. With over 1,000 shows, act now and get your tickets. Supported by principal partner Bank SA. Search Adelaide Fringe today.
Corner. Yeah. Here I come, can't have one if you ain't lost none. Big Papa Bear, call me the done. This 1 free nizzle in the sound system. Here I come.
You up for the latest small SUV on the block? With an elevated ride height, smart tech and two-tone colour range. The all-new Kia Stonic SUV.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
28 after 6, it's a very happy morning for Blues supporters. Broke a long hoodoo last night. Tom Ren has the details. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
And I'll tell you what, Will, morning to you. Hats off to you because you picked Carlton at the start of the year to make the 8. Now, it's one game, but they haven't done that since 2012. Why didn't I listen? I'm 0 from 2 with my tips. How are you going?
I had him at the line last night, Carlton.
Smash that.
But yeah, so feeling fairly happy. I wasn't early in the game, I can tell you. Felt an absolute mug. But geez, they look really good. They look really good.
And I thought the moment of the night, I wasn't sure how he'd come back, Sam Doherty, but there's no question the best moment last night, the feel-good moment, was when he kicked his goal.
Wouldn't this be special? Hope he can go back here and finish. This will bring the house down, I reckon. He doesn't kick many, Sam Doherty. His last goal came in round 10 of 2017 against North Melbourne. And given where he's come from and what he's been through, this would indeed be a special moment.
How good's that crowd noise?
You can't simulate that moment, can you, with audio?
Yeah.
Like, that was just a special moment. Audio courtesy of Channel 7 last night. That was just... It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of special moments, Luke Beveridge's press conference the other night, bit of fallout from that.
Yes.
Do you know Tom Morris? Tom, have you worked with him?
I haven't. I wasn't at Fox when he was there. I'd left.
So he's the journo. He's the journo who made Beveridge lose his rag the other night.
Mm-hmm.
He's now been stood down by Fox, pending an investigation. Utterly appalling messages emerged yesterday of him making really, really low-rent, offensive comments about a female co-worker.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in the chat, it's an all-male chat group, someone in this chat group has leaked it to social media. I'm sure some of our listeners will have seen it yesterday. It's just jaw-dropping stuff, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's getting messier and messier by the day, but it's hard to see where he's going, if he's going to come back and work at Fox now. He's been stood down.
It's really tough, isn't it?
It's, yeah.
I mean, we can't repeat any of the content of it because it's totally unbroadcastable.
Yeah.
The timing of it is just, I mean, what a 12 hours it was.
Oh, unbelievable. And look, credit to Luke Beveridge, for the apology yesterday. I thought he
did
showed
apologise.
good contrition, and handled it appropriately. And hopefully, he's made a really bad blue, but he's owned it and can move on from that now.
Yeah, it's a good point to make. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Tom.
Check out Gliderol Garage Doors' new Timberlook Native Series sectional doors, gliderol.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny 29 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates and group exercise classes claimable on private health. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
It's election eve in SA. Stephen Marshall and Peter Malinauskas will be pounding the pavement again today. Shadow Health Minister Chris Picton says they have the federal Labor leader in town as well.
Anthony Albanese was with Peter Malinauskas last night up in Modbury, talking to voters, listening to the key issues for voters, and it's very clear that health is the number one thing that people are concerned about, and that's why we've devoted so much of our campaign and our plan to investing in health and fixing the ramping crisis.
And Anthony Albanese will join David and Will after 7:30 this morning. South Australia is being hit by its second Omicron wave. Almost 4,500 cases were reported yesterday and 3 COVID deaths. There are now more than 19,500 active cases across the state, and the lineups at testing sites have returned, with people now waiting several hours for a swab. Researchers believe the country's overall number of COVID cases could be far higher than officially reported. A national surveillance program is being launched to work out just how many people in Australia have caught COVID-19. Thousands of blood samples will be tested for viral antibodies, and the first results are due within weeks. The Treasurer will use his pre-election budget to start repairing the budget bottom line. Josh Frydenberg will use a speech today to suggest there'll be a substantial improvement in the deficit for the coming financial year. The next phase of the government's fiscal strategy will focus on budget repair following years of pandemic spending. US President Joe Biden has labelled Russian President Vladimir Putin a thug and a murderous dictator. Michael Genovese reports.
The comments are an escalation in language from the US President.
Now you have Ireland and Great Britain and the Republic standing together against a murderous dictator. Pure thug who is waging an immoral war against the people of Ukraine.
It comes a day after Joe Biden labelled Vladimir Putin a war criminal. The US president will meet with Xi Jinping of China tomorrow to warn that supporting Russia would be met with consequences.
More than a third of alcohol purchased in Australia is consumed by only 5% of the population. A new study shows the heaviest drinkers consume almost 8 drinks a day. Lead author Megan Cook says it's concerning.
We know that alcohol is related to over 200 different health conditions, including a range of cancers. But you also think about, the harms to others as well. So even those who don't consume alcohol-related violence, domestic violence.
And Kylie Minogue has revealed she's getting over COVID. The singer tweeted about her condition overnight. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au.
Get well soon, Kylie. Here's Tom Wren.
Yeah, absolutely. Love Kylie. Let's start with footy now, and Port Adelaide will head to Brisbane this morning as they prepare for tomorrow night's blockbuster clash against one of the premiership fancies. Jackson Mead will make his debut for the Power. Well, Carlton has secured its first win against Richmond in round 1 since 2012 after taking care of the Tigers by 25 points last night. It's the perfect start for Michael Voss, who led the side in his first match as coach. Well, Melbourne Storm has defeated the South Sydney Rabbitohs 15-14 in a Golden Point thriller in round 2 of the NRL. Storm coach Craig Bellamy says it wasn't the best strike from Ryan Pappenhausen.
It must have just snuck in, but it didn't look like a real effective kick to me. It didn't look it didn't look as good as the Trolls, I must say, but I just thought he'd missed it, but then he started jumping up and down the air. I thought, well, he might have got it. It was an interesting way to finish the game.
Yeah, great result for Bellamy in his 500th match as coach. One game in the NBL last night with the Illawarra Hawks replacing the South East Melbourne Phoenix in the top 4 after they beat them 103-97. Meantime, in the NBA, Spencer Dinwiddie was at it again with another buzzer beater to help his side beat the Brooklyn Nets right at the death.
Dinwiddie for 3, and it goes down! Back-to-back game winners by Spencer Dinwiddie! He did it Sunday in Boston! He does it tonight in Brooklyn at the gun! 113-111! Mavs win it!
Very excited, great result there for them, and that audio thanks to ESPN. And it's about a quarter of an hour into the English Premier League clash between Everton and Newcastle. The match currently locked at 0-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, 29 today and mostly sunny. The weekend, sunny tomorrow 31 and Sunday mostly sunny and 30. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7. Got a tweet from Ben Jordan who said on the 18th of June 2003, the advertiser referred to Glenelg as Manhattan of the South. Manhattan of the South. That would be a worthy entrant for Meat Tray Friday this morning. Thanks to Liam and the team at Chanel's, your local butcher. 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. We're asking you to describe a suburb in 4 words.
Dave from Alberton, proving yet again that he's one of our funniest listeners. His is, and it of course contains a sledge, Alberton. It's not West Lakes.
Now, that hurts my feelings, Dave. That really
All I'd
hurts
say to you, Dave, is yeah, you're right. Alberton is no West Lakes. It's all in the delivery.
I would also say, Dave, you've just demonstrated how not to win a meat tray. Okay, let's go to Mark.
We're quite unashamed about it. We are two paid up crows, sycophants,
Well,
and we have the final say on this,
David,
and you're not winning.
I grew up in Westlakes. Forget the football part of it.
That's very funny, Dave. Good on you, mate.
Mark in Largs Bay, good morning.
Morning, boys. A couple of things. Largs, last untouched beachside suburb. And Dave, I've got a question on without notice for you.
Yeah.
Something that's been bothering me for a while now. The journalists that spend time in all these war-torn countries, or do they have any mental debriefing when they get back from doing these gigs or not?
Yeah, they do actually, mate. It's a good question. Sometimes they're so sort of hard-bitten that they sort of say, "Oh no, I'll be right." A bit like old cops. But I know I was chief of staff during the Bali bombings in Sydney at the Telegraph, and I sent a whole bunch of people to courses after they came back, and I actually did one myself. I didn't think I needed to, but I just found it horrible. And I mean, we had a room where a colleague of mine, Michelle, she wasn't in Bali, but her job, she was in a room with a whiteboard tallying up the names of 88 Australians for a week.
God.
Yeah, and putting, okay, there's 4 from Adelaide, there's the Coogee Dolphins have got 7 players. So yeah, mate, they do, and it's only a newish thing though. I mean, we didn't have an HR department when I started working as a journo in '92, and for all the smart alecky comments we do make about HR from time to time, I actually think that sort of stuff is really
It's
important.
why it's there for, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a good question, mate.
It's a great question. Well, there are plenty of stories, because it's in some quarters there's journos that aspire to that, like being the war correspondent. I mean, that's right up there. But there's been plenty of incidents of people that have done it and then walked away from the whole gig. They've come back and gone, well, nah, I'm out.
Well, there's a photographer who is no longer with us, tragically, because he couldn't cope. The South African Magnum photographer, Kevin, can't remember his last name. He took the photograph in Ethiopia of the toddler.
Oh yeah,
the emaciated toddler with a vulture standing next to it.
Yeah.
And Kevin Carter, thanks, Lise. And he took his life.
Mm.
It's just appalling.
Yeah, because you find people in to see the worst part of human existence, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think part of the reason he did was the debate that photograph started, which was it appropriate for him to take the photograph? I would say absolutely it was appropriate because it's like the napalm girl in World War, in the Vietnam War.
Completely.
Like, it's a total human face of a tragedy, but, you know, there's a really good documentary about him. It's an amazing photograph.
20 to 7. Let's take some more Meat Tray Friday calls.
Got serious there.
Yeah, it did a bit. Peter and Warradale, take us back to the Meat Tray, mate. What's the 4 words to describe a suburb?
West Beach fixed the ramp. Are you aware of what's going on with the new boat ramp?
Yeah, Matt Abraham's been fired up about it.
Yeah, last Thursday, I was there on Friday, and a car actually tried to pull his boat out, and he couldn't pull his boat out, and it went backwards, and he swamped his car.
You're joking?
No, it's that slippery. They've got 2-inch cutouts going across the ramp, but in between the cutouts, it's that slippery. It's like ice, and people are struggling to pull their car and boats out.
And because there's lots of, I've run through that area a bit, Peter. There's work going on, but it's all to do with the sand and the beach there, isn't it? So there's nothing actually being worked on the ramp at all.
Well, they put the breakwater back.
Yeah.
And that's back now, but the ramp surface itself is
okay.
There's no algae on there. And I was standing on the ramp. I was nearly sliding away. That's how that's how smooth it is.
That's basically not usable then, is it?
Maybe they got the same surface that the City Council put through Victoria Square.
The slip and slide pavers. Yeah. Hey, that's a great call, Peter. Thank you for that. A political call to action can be part of your 4-word slogan. There's no worry about that. 822 300 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Lots of good text coming through. 0248 08 1395 is the number. We'll check traffic for the first time this morning. Police and weather coming up in just a moment.
Morning, boys. At FIVEAA, power line work, main road near Manalta Drive, speeds at 40. Brooklyn Park, works on Sir Donald Rabban Drive near Marion Road continue. That's affecting both directions. And Seaton, got some street lining repairs going on there. Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade. It's as you're heading towards West Lakes Boulevard. A few cameras about. Dublin Road, Malala, Glenburn Road, Burnside, and Hay Road at Linden Park. The King 45th anniversary sale ends Sunday. Save up to 50% on Australian design award-winning furniture. Sale ends Sunday. Visit the King Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's license? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
If your business could do with more business, you should try advertising here on the radio. 5AA can help turn your brand into a household name. We could do it with a jingle, or a really funny ad, or something deadly serious. Our audience is big enough to fill Adelaide Oval again and again. Get in touch with 5AA to find out how we can give your business more business.
Shop now at Harvey Norman Clearance Centre Marion. Under one big roof, we have lounges, dining, outdoor, rugs, flooring, cooking, washers, fridges, televisions and much more. Run-out models, scratch and dent, refurbished stock and brand new lines in stock and ready to go. Harvey Norman Clearance Centre at Marion for furniture, bedding, flooring, rugs and electrical. Look for the red sign. Shop now at Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, 919 Marion Road, Marion.
The state election is this Saturday, and polling booths are open between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. When you go to vote, remember to wear a mask and bring your EasyVote card. Not sure how to find your nearest polling booth? Just check the back of your EasyVote card, or you can use the polling booth finder on the MySA.gov app, or visit ecsa.sa.gov.au. Your vote, your voice. Authorised by M. Sherry, Electoral Commissioner.
The 7-seat Isuzu MUX. Exquisite styling, exceptional tech, and when it's time to get off the beaten track, it's exhilarating.
You can go your own way.
With
Exceptional tech and off-road capability, plus a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, the Isuzu MU-X range is extraordinary. Search Isuzu MU-X.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
15 minutes to 7. Ryan Fitzgerald coming up in just a moment for Fitzy's Footy Fridays. It's back. The tips will be a little bit disjointed this week because we've already had 2 games, but he'll tip the rest of the round for you and continue to do it over the course of the year for us. So if you need some help with your footy tips, Fitzy's here for it. That's coming up in a moment. Let's talk weather. Tom Bowick, Senior Forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Tom, take us through the weekend, mate.
Yeah, g'day, Dave and Will. Well, yeah, certainly it's looking like some warm conditions again. So we did have that bit of rain and then some sort of slightly milder day, but yeah, generally it's looking like in that sort of warm to hot range for the next few days. 29 degrees for today and dry conditions. 30 for Elizabeth, 28 for Glenelg, bit cooler at Mount Barker in the southeasterly, 25, 26 also for Noongar. The weekends looking generally sunny conditions, might be a little bit humid feeling as well, but 31 for Saturday and 30 for Sunday, and then 31 for Monday as well. Change does arrive on Tuesday though, so change day for Tuesday, there will be some showers around on Tuesday, maximum back at 26, and then we do have some milder weather coming up for Wednesday, Thursday next week, following that change in a sort of fresh southerly airstream. 21 degrees for both Wednesday, Thursday, maybe 1 or 2 showers around, guys.
Loving these perfectly placed summery weekends.
It's terrific. It's really good. Thank you,
Right.
Tom. Let's catch up with SAPOL. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes is on the line. Rebecca, there's been a servo robbery at Paralowie.
Yes, this happened just for 11:30pm last night. A man entered the servo on Port Wakefield Road at Paralowie. He was armed with a firearm and threatened the console operator. He stole cash and fled on foot. The staff member was shaken by the incident, but thankfully not physically injured. Police attended and searched the area for the suspect. He's described as a young man of Aboriginal appearance, aged in his late teens or early 20s, and Northern CIB detectives and crime scene investigators attended. And after examining the CCTV, it appears that the firearm was likely a gel blaster, but obviously the staff member was unable to see that at the time, and as far as they were concerned, they were being threatened with a firearm, so it's terrifying. And anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Also, Rebecca, a truck and an ambo collided on the Southern Expressway last night.
Yes, this may have caused some delays for peak hour traffic. It happened just before 6pm. Police and emergency services were called to the Southern Expressway near Bridge 3 at Trott Park after a truck and an ambulance collided. The 2 paramedics and the elderly patient in the back of the ambulance received minor injuries, and they were taken to the Flinders Medical Centre for an assessment, and the driver of the truck was also treated at the scene for minor injuries. The road was actually closed for several hours, and the northbound lanes of this Southern Expressway didn't reopen until just before 11pm last night. So it was a major incident. Investigations into the crash are continuing.
Good stuff. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes from SAPOL. Dave in South Brighton's called in with a Metro Friday entry. Morning, Dave.
Morning, guys. I've got a positive one and I've got a negative one, and they both regard the same suburb.
All right, let's hear them.
So my positive one is best beaches in Adelaide,
Yep.
and my negative one is beware of the tourists.
Good on you, Dave. Well, they both sort of relate to each other too, don't they, a bit?
They do. So many here on the Telstra Mount Barker text line. One from Zach, Campbelltown. Pasta pizza, pasta pizza. I haven't been out to Campbelltown for a while. I love getting out there to Nino's and Mikado. There's so many great food places. DB from Athelston. This would look nice in a sort of curved, italicised typeface on it, maybe on a carved timber sign as you enter Athelston. Athelston, between river and hills.
Oh, that sounds very pleasant.
That's poetic, isn't it? Port Noongar, biggest dump in Adelaide.
Okay, not as pleasant.
No, but then it says, I'm trying to keep the beautiful secret and keep people away.
I see.
That's what I love saying to Sydney mates. Nah, Adelaide's really boring and horrible. You don't want to come to Adelaide.
Did I tell you about we had dinner we were having lunch somewhere in Sydney, and the waitress got to us. She said, "Oh, you're from out of town." So you're from Adelaide. She went, "Oh, Adelaide. Oh, my husband." By the way, we're at Currajong in the Blue Mountains, right? We're not in Bondi here. We're in fruit bowl country, and she says, yeah, my husband and I were looking to move to Adelaide. And I said to her, so you got family over there? No, just real estate around here is too much, and we're just thinking of moving. No connection to Adelaide.
Wow.
Couple in their probably mid-20s, just saying we're going to up and go.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
and
phenomenal.
It makes you think, as a South Australian, given how much property's risen in the last 2 years, that Sydney people look at Adelaide right now and go, how cheap is Adelaide?
They do. They absolutely do. She couldn't believe what you can live in and how close to the city.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
And this person lived in, this would be the equivalent of, what would that be away from Adelaide?
Oh, it's 60 kilometres?
Port Douglas or something? Not Port Douglas. Down, sort of beyond Aldinga way. It'd be.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's like living in Yankalilla or something.
Yeah, or Wollonga. Yeah,
Wollonga?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 55, 60 Ks.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Con has McGill, the Pioneer Burb. Good stuff. I like this one from Mark. Glenside, leafy tree, beefy me. Tessa, who's running for Parliament, vote 1 Tessa. Paraka, planes for days. And Anne says the whole city should have one, which is Adelaide so close to everything. And someone's just sent through a photo of a beach sunset.
Like that.
Tennyson, and Jason has gone all out alliteration-wise. Moana, shipwreck, surf, sand, scenic.
Shipwreck, surf, sand, scenic. Sensational. 8 to 7, Ryan Fitzgerald coming up next.
For over 38 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. And right now, Steinborners are the place to go for top dollar on your trade-in. They will do any trade, and this month they're offering a further $1,500 bonus on all trade-ins. So go out to one of Steinborner's 8 locations for Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford and SA's best range of used cars. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Elder abuse. 2 words we should never see together. ARIS, Aged Rights Advocacy Service, offers a free, confidential and culturally safe service for older people experiencing abuse. It may be physical, psychological, sexual or neglect, restriction of social activities or pressure to lend money. It may come from family, friends, even carers. There's no excuse for abuse. See it, stop it, prevent it. Google ARIS, ARAS, supporting the rights of older people. ARIS is funded by the Australian Government.
At Fairmont Homes, they're excited to provide you with better value than ever. When it comes to quality and unbeatable value, it's always Fairmont Homes.
Build with Fairmont now and you'll receive luxury kitchen and bathroom upgrades plus free air. That's 3 luxury upgrades at absolutely no extra cost, but for a limited time.
And now for just $3,500 extra, you can also choose from higher ceilings, solar or smart stone bench tops.
For more information, visit fairmonthomes.com.au. Fairmont Homes are built for life. T's and C's apply.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to get free installation? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? 2. The largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers and get free installation on your cabinets with laminate bench tops. For a limited time, of course. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
We remarked yesterday with Tom Duday back on the program, a sense of normality returning to life in Adelaide with the return of AFL footy, and with the return of footy, we have the return of Fitzy's Footy Fridays. Thanks to Truss House Inspect Australia, the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. Search House Inspect Australia. Good morning to you, Fitzy.
Sweet goodness. And the magnificent Pembo. Good to hear your voices again, boys.
Good to hear yours too, Fitzy. How's your Christmas, New Year been? A lot of people listening to the program spent it sitting in cars waiting to get pipe cleaners shoved up their noses. How was your encounter with COVID over there in Sydney?
We haven't got it yet in the family. It's pretty rampant at the moment over in Sydney, and through the schools it's going everywhere as well. But we were lucky enough to get back to Adelaide over Christmas, so we had a beautiful Christmas there with the weather, because you know how bad the weather's been in Sydney. This is the worst summer I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is tropical Queensland weather that we're having in New South Wales at the moment. But it's been great, boys. I had I put in an offer for colonnades. It was just a 30-pack of West End cans and a voucher to Beck's Bakery down at Portalung. I haven't heard anything back yet. But
so you've really upped the ante then?
Yeah, yeah. I chucked in the voucher to Beck's just to get it over the line, but I still haven't heard back from him, Pembo.
It's like checking on eBay, you know, current bid still in the front, the Beck's Bakehouse voucher.
I would love to know if anyone has put in a couple of bids for colonnades yet. I really would. I was thinking about throwing the hat around down south, but it's good to be back, boys. The footy season's... Actually, before we start as well, can I just bring something up? This is massive, because I don't know if you saw, boys, and I don't know how many fans of the Foo Fighters listen to 5AA and Pembo
Plenty.
And Will in the morning. There are plenty, aren't they? Well, you know what? They've left Adelaide off the national tour.
Yeah, we spoke about this.
We're really, really disappointed with this. Now, there's a great guy by the name of Jordan. He's a young fella, 21 years of age. He started up a petition, right? And I'm pretty sure if we can get a few thousand more, I reckon we need another 2,000 or 3,000 more signatures, Adelaide, and we can get this over the line. It's looking pretty promising that the Foo Fighters might come to Adelaide. Okay, so you need to go...
Ooh,
there's an Instagram account called Foo Fighters Adelaide 2022. If you go there, Foo Fighters Adelaide 2022 on Instagram, go there and there's a link that you can go to the petition, sign it, and I'm pretty sure if we get a few more, it'll be powerful enough for them to take notice and come to Adelaide. There might be a gap in the tour that they can come to South Australia.
Well, actually, I like that, but I think we need to start going a step further in Adelaide and being a bit more aggressive about these things. Not only that it's all good and well for a band to add us as a location.
Yep.
I'd be perfectly happy if we just stole someone else's concert.
I agree. Well, but see, you know what? Promoters are saying now that it's more lucrative and it's better for them to actually sell out of Melbourne and Sydney and then do another one of those,
right?
Instead of and leaving Adelaide out.
Well, that's not right.
So what we need to show them, if we can get 10,000 signatures for this, we could sell out an entertainment centre. Say it might be even something bigger. It could be Highmarsh Stadium. And then they'll put us on every time, but we need to get this one over the line just to show them that we mean it.
100%. I throw my full support behind that.
Yep.
Now, mate, we'll rip into the tips. We've got Friday night football, St Kilda v the Pies.
Yeah, this is going to be good. I think the Pies are looking pretty good. You know what? We talk about Jason Horne-Francis at North Melbourne. That South Adelaide gun, the Christie's Beach boy, but that young Dacos, he is an absolute freak. They've got some really good young kids, so I'm going to pick the Pies to beat the Saints, boys.
The Ageing Cats versus the Bombers.
Yeah, Essendon, everyone's pumping up Essendon. Mick Malthouse has picked them to win the premiership. Well, look, I'm going to go the Bombers. They looked really good in the trial games, and I think they'll beat the 8. Do you remember last year when the Crows flogged Geelong in round 1?
Yeah.
How good that was?
That was
I reckon
such a
that
go.
might happen again with the Bombers.
Yep. And then the Sydney Derby, GWS Swans.
Yeah, this is going to be a belter game too. Will Buddy get his 1,000th goal? I don't think he will. GWS will do everything in their power to stop that, but I think the Swans are going to be too good with their young players, so the Swannies will win that.
Gill's urging everyone to run onto the ground. I like that.
You know what? I'm going to round 2 against Geelong at the SCG.
Oh.
And I don't care. I will push an old lady out of the way to get onto the ground for that one. Because I run out there for pluggers. And how often do you get to run out into the ground anymore? I will be using any kid as a shield to get out there as much as I can.
Now, the big one for Port fans, Saturday night up at the Gabba, Brisbane v the Pair.
Yeah, look, two even teams here, but I think having the home ground advantage is going to be a little bit too much for the Lions, so I'm going to say Brisbane to win that one.
Hawks North Melbourne.
Oh God, this is going to be an interesting one. Look, Hawks aren't going to be very good this year, but unfortunately for North Melbourne, I think they're going to be a little bit better than them, so I'm going to back the Hawks to win that game.
Then the Crowies versus the Dockers at home.
Yeah, I'm confident. I just heard that Fife's out as well, so I'm going to go the Crows to win round 1 at home.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. How do you five star? It's like Luke Beveridge sort of team player leaks you've got. You got a sauce too, have you, mate?
There was I tell you.
What about that for a blow up?
That was just. There was a bit of chopper in that. The way that he was looking at Tom Morris, wasn't there?
That's right.
I think he was looking at his ears, saying, "I'll lop that off in a second if you keep it up." That was astounding. Astounding.
I think Keithing's done himself a mischief, and then finally, West Coast v the Suns.
Look. West Coast have been decimated by injuries and sickness with COVID, so I think the Suns are going to... That'll be an upset, but the Suns will beat them.
Excellent. Good on you, Fitzy. Great having you back.
Good on you, boys. Good to be back. Speak to you next week.
Ryan Fitzgerald, thanks to Trust House Inspect Australia, the most qualified team in Australia for house inspection. Search House Inspect Australia. Coming up in the next half hour on the program, we'll take you through some of the stories of the morning, and Anthony Albanese's in town for the Labor campaign ahead of polling day. We'll chat with him next.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny 29 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
We've had Scott Morrison and John Howard in town during the state election campaign. Labor has welcomed federal opposition leader Anthony Albanese to Adelaide for the final push to win office tomorrow. Treasurer Rob Lucas is retiring at this election, but says there have been long days and nights ahead of polling day.
I'm fairly excited and looking forward to the contest. You wait for a long time for the grand final, and the grand final comes up tomorrow. So certainly a late night for me though as well. My last night of signing documents after 40 years off and on.
There's been a hold-up at a Paralowie service station. The Port Wakefield outlet was hit just before 11:30 last night. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says the offender stole cash.
After examining the CCTV, it appears that the firearm was likely a gel blaster, but obviously the staff member was unable to see that at the time, and as far as they were concerned, they were being threatened with a firearm, so it's terrifying.
The hunt for the man continues. A crash involving a truck and ambulance on the Southern Expressway is under investigation. It happened last night near Bridge 3 at Trott Park. 2 paramedics and 1 patient in the ambulance received minor injuries. The driver of the truck was treated at the scene. Turkey has revealed details of an outline peace agreement proposed by Russia. The plan, discussed in a phone call between the Russian and Turkish presidents, is reportedly aimed at bringing an end to the war. It would force Ukraine to accept that it will not join NATO. Moscow also wants parts of eastern Ukraine to be made part of Russia. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has played down the prospects of a diplomatic solution.
We appreciate the efforts of other countries, including France, Germany, Israel, Turkey, and others. But diplomacy requires both sides engaging in good faith to de-escalate, and I don't see signs right now that Putin is prepared to stop.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has made an impassioned plea to Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine. The actor also urging Russians to reject the Kremlin's misinformation.
I know that your government has told you that this is a war to denazify Ukraine. This is not true. Ukraine is a country with a Jewish president, I might add, whose father's 3 brothers were all murdered by the Nazis.
Children with vision problems now have access to new eye drops to prevent future complications. Gabriella Rogers has the story.
The new eye drops contain low-dose atropine to slow the progression of myopia or short-sightedness, which affects about 15% of the population. Typically, children are diagnosed with the disorder in their teens, but Australian experts are seeing earlier onset. More time indoors and screen activity are contributing to the problem. Experts say the new eye drops will make the treatment more accessible and convenient for patients. Previously, the key ingredient could only be sourced through compounding pharmacists.
And the BBC has paid compensation to Princess Diana's former private secretary, the payment going to Patrick Jeffson over Martin Bashir's Panorama interview in 1995. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide captain Rory Sloane says he can't wait to see debutants Josh Rochelle and Jake Saligo in action when they play on Sunday against Fremantle. Sloane telling Rowie it was a great moment when the news was broken to them at training.
Saw them out on ground in the stadium, which is just a great feeling for all of those guys. And yeah, I mean, incredible really for Josh, Rochelle and Jakey. Those boys have done an incredible amount of work all summer, and they're going to be great footballers for us.
Well, it was a perfect start for Carlton under new coach Michael Voss with a 25-point win over Richmond in more than front of 72,000 fans at the MCG. The crowd erupted when Blues defender Sam Docherty, back from a second bout of testicular cancer, booted a goal. Defender Jacob Wiedering full of praise for his teammate.
I don't know, it's just something else. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional. He's a leader of our football club. He's gone through 2 knee reconstructions, cancer. He's an incredible person on and off the field. I can't say enough about him. He's a terrific mentor, terrific leader for this group.
Yeah, well said. The Tigers are expected to be without both Jack Revolt and Dion Prestia in round 2 after both picked up injuries in the loss. Briefly elsewhere, Craig Bellamy's 500th game in charge for the Melbourne Storm has been celebrated with a memorable Golden Point win over South Sydney in the NRL. And it's half-time in the English Premier League clash between Everton and Newcastle, which is still locked at 0-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Belair, powerline work on Main Road near Minalta Drive, speeds at 40. Seaton, street lining repairs on Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade, that's as you're heading towards West Lakes Boulevard. And Brooklyn Park, works on Sir Donald Bradman Drive near Marion Road, it's affecting both directions, speeds at 40 k's. Busy South Road, School Avenue to Everard Avenue with cameras Barossa Valley Way and Nuriutpa, and Cooper Place at Beaumont. Want to trade financial markets? Trade with CMC Markets, the trusted trading platform for over 30 years. Trade your way at cmcmarkets.com. All trading involves risk. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast, mostly sunny and 29 for your Friday, sunny tomorrow 31 and 30 on Sunday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, it's a Friday morning, so it's Meat Tray Friday, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher's, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Asking you to describe a suburb in 4 words. Can you sum up a suburb in 4 words? Getting a lot of fantastic entries on the Telstra Storm Out Park. It's excellent. A few of those in just a moment. Arman Humphrey-Mzade is coming up in the next 15 minutes. Anthony Albanese, leader of the Labor Party, after 7:30, federally obviously, but he's in town to support, lend some support to Peter Malinauskas ahead of Election Day tomorrow. And then a little bit later in the morning, you'll hear the final word on the election from both the Labor and Liberal leaders, the men who would be Premier after 8 o'clock, and Port fans, Orazio Fantasia for the first time in 2022.
Don't worry, folks. We've told Peter Malinauskas and Stephen Marshall they have 2 minutes each.
Yeah. That's right.
Famous last words, we're calling the segment.
Give us your best stuff, we said. Make the final pitch. This is you, uninterrupted. You get to just say, make your strongest arguments.
Getting some lovely texts here for the Meat Tray Friday. Moonta Bay, Serenity by the Sea. That's very poetic from Kevin there. Jocelyn, again. Jocelyn, elegance with an embassy.
That's very good.
I thought of one. Maslin's, get your gear off.
It sums up the suburb.
That's what it's all about.
That's what you know. It only takes 4 words. You can communicate the entire ethos of a suburb.
My 6-year-old son Sam asked me a very astute question the other day when we were driving past the Maslin's turn-off. He's at the age now where he very proudly can read signs. And he said, "Oh, Dad, that's the nudie beach, isn't it?" I went, "Yep." He said, "Can you wear a snorkel if you go to Maslin's?" I said, "Oh, yes, I think you can." He said, "That's funny. You can wear a snorkel and a mask, and you could probably wear flippers, but you can't wear clothes." Yeah, well,
funny old world, son.
That's right, exactly. Oh, he's starting to ask those sorts of questions.
Yeah, that's okay.
How did the baby get made? Yeah, it just turned up.
Yeah,
just turned up. There it was.
Turn the radio up.
I wasn't there. And
I heard this song.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, let's get to some of the news stories that have developed overnight and throughout the morning. I have no doubt our listeners will be familiar with this advertising campaign.
My name's Ash, and I've been in Ambo for 7 years. I'm not being paid for this ad. I'm doing it because I want people to know the facts. Ramping's worse than ever, and it's not just because of COVID. It could be you or a loved one that needs an ambulance, and the simple fact is you might not get one in time. Lives are at risk, and Stephen Marshall isn't doing enough. At the coming election, vote Labor like your life depends on it, because it just might.
Authorised R. Martin, Australian Labor Party, South Australian Branch, Adelaide.
Powerful ad, lots of cut through. People have spoken about Ash and the Ambo advertisement. It says ramping is worse than ever, which it's a powerful ad, except it's just not. It's not worse than ever. That's the ruling by the Electoral Commissioner. Mick Sherry says that that claim in that advertisement is untrue. Here's the quote. The statement contradicts recently released hours lost due to late transfer of care data, which shows that these have declined by 47% since their peak in October 2021. So
which is what the Liberals have been arguing that. They've been saying that over the last 6 months they've got on top of things.
Yeah, so it's a 47% decrease is not insignificant. I guess Labor would say, yeah, but it peaked. It peaked in terms of how worse it got on your watch.
That's right.
But that's not as powerful. It's hard to put that in an election ad.
The figure that Labor is using is that it's risen 485% during this term.
Yeah.
But the Libs are arguing now with the backing of the Electoral Commissioner that it's gone down markedly.
These things, does it come too late to matter in the campaign?
I think it has. I think the damage has been done in terms of this part of the campaign. And this ad, a bit like the Medi-Scare ad, which was actually devised by the same ad agency, with the Labor-aligned Dee Madigan being the creative, to use that advertising industry term, behind it. Politically, Labor would go, crikey, the day before the election, if the Electoral Commissioner wants to give us a bit of a chiding over that, then so be it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's been on air for 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been on our show. Because remember, I bagged the ad on air. That was when we were in lockdown. That was when we were in the Jay Weatherall lockdown.
That's
so
right.
it was the first week of December when you and I were locked in our houses. Yep. I remember I said on air, I think I was in a bad mood because I was broadcasting from home in the attic. And the ad played, and I went, God, I hate that ad. Then I thought, whoops, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but, I said it. So that's 3 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. And people will say that. Well, ramping's never been worse.
See, the mistake the Libs made was that they didn't go all out against this campaign from the get-go.
Yeah.
They just sort of... They're too...
You could say
that as scary as the local Rotary Club at times, the Liberal Party. They don't get that they're up against people who are trained political animals.
Yep.
And they should have gone, instead of going, oh, those ambulance ads drive us mad, they should have gone, no, we're going to war with that ad.
Yeah, but you could make the same argument about the prosecution of the discussion around the new entertainment centre versus their critique of the hydrogen plant.
Yes.
There's a great example of two things that are worth about the same. That the only difference between them is how rigorous the criticism has been.
Why aren't there posters all over town by the Libs saying Labor's going to waste $600 million on a power plant the private sector should really be running?
Yeah, that's right.
But they haven't. Funny story this morning too. Weird story. Ambo's watching soccer. An elderly woman claims 2 ambulance officers stayed at her home long after they were needed so they could watch a soccer game on a television. I mean, if people rant because of that, you can't really blame that one on the government.
Those 2 weren't stressed, clearly.
No. Anyway, hell of a campaign.
It has been. Now, 800 employees of P&O Ferries, P&O, the big cruise and shipping company, were told to arrive at work as normal and tune into a Zoom meeting where they were told this overnight.
These vessels going forward will be primarily crewed by a third-party crew provider. Therefore, I am sorry to inform you that this means your employment is terminated with immediate effect on the grounds of redundancy. Your final day of employment is today.
No warning, no notice period. They turned up to their shift believing they were working as per normal and were told a third-party crew would be taking over their ships. They were no longer needed.
So it's a bit of a Patrick Stevedores in the cruise space, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, well, apparently, according to the accounts of people that were sacked, there were busloads of staff parked out front of their vessels waiting to come on as the incumbent staff were sacked and then got on those same buses and were escorted off the property, all with no notice. 800 of them. P&O obviously have a presence here in Australia too, but that part is not owned by the Dubai government-owned DP World ports business that they have.
The idea of sacking people over Zoom is straight out of the George Clooney film Up in the Air, which we were talking about the other day. How utterly heartless. Isn't that just the most appalling way to treat people?
And just think what those people's lives have been like for the last 2 years, because we know how hard cruising's been hit.
Yeah, but surely it's illegal.
Well,
aren't you actually meant to be there physically with people when they're made redundant? To say, okay, here's the information pack, here's numbers to call. I mean, I've been through that process, and it's horrible. And you know, that's not why it was me. It's most horrible for the person who's getting the bums rush from their job.
Yep.
But you do it with someone from HR and you know, all the explanations.
Like you care is how you're meant to do it.
Totally.
Not just on a Zoom to everyone all at once. Oh,
but the
sorry.
way it sounded like some
gross.
sort of Big Brother type thing. Like, it sounded like Squid Game.
It was a bit. It was treating people like that. Like they just total, you know, they're
expendable.
They're expendable. They're decimal points on a spreadsheet somewhere. Yep. Yeah, just awful. Did come up in British Parliament overnight too. They were absolutely criticised across the spectrum of politics about how appallingly it has been handled. This was interesting, and I wasn't expecting Arnold Schwarzenegger to weigh into the situation in Ukraine, but he made a video this morning. I had to double check because I thought, is this really happening? But he filmed what was a 9-minute address to Russian soldiers and people of Russia with I guess he has a unique perspective on this, brought about by where he grew up in the world and his influences. Here's a little bit of Arnold Schwarzenegger and what he recorded overnight.
Hello everybody, and thank you for sharing your time with me. I'm sending this message through various different channels to reach my dear Russian friends and the Russian soldiers serving in Ukraine. But before I talk about the harsh realities, let me just tell you about the Russian who became my hero. I was in the audience when Yuri Petrovich Vlasov won the World Championship title, becoming the first human being to lift 200 kilograms over his head. And somehow a friend of mine got me backstage. All of a sudden there was a 14-year-old boy standing in front of the strongest man in the world. I couldn't believe it. I will never forget that day. Never. I went home and I put his photo above my bed to inspire me when I started lifting weights. My father told me to take down that picture and to find a German or an Austrian hero. He got really angry and we argued back and forth. He didn't like Russians because of his experience in the Second World War. You see, he was injured at Leningrad, where the Nazi army that he was part of did vicious harm to the great city and to its brave people. But I did not take the photograph down, no. Because it didn't matter to me what flag Yuri Vlasov carried.
So he goes on to talk about this story about him being this young boy, a Russian hero. His father fought with the Nazis in the Second World War and didn't like the idea that his son was idolising someone that they'd been at war with and he'd been injured by. And I got to say, I started watching this and thought, well, we didn't have a Hollywood person weighing into a international conflict, but his perspective actually is. It is interesting. Yeah, it is unique, and he's appealing to the Russian people. To it
was quite clever
to learn some lessons from that.
Because you reckon a lot of the soldiers go, "Oh, what have you seen that Arnold Schwarzenegger video?" It's the kind of thing that gets shared around.
Well, it has, and I think Lucy was watching it. It had over 30 million views within a few hours of it being posted. He does have an incredibly large reach globally too. Yeah, and in that part of the world as well.
I saw him speak at a conference once.
Was he good?
Oh, he's excellent. He was so funny. It was in California when he was the governor, and he interviewed Tony Blair. It was the opening night, the Friday night, and there were about 600 of us at this conference. It was one of those pinch yourself moments. Wow. I'm in the same room as Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he got up as governor and goes, "I'd like to welcome everybody to California," and then he says, "I can't wait to interview my friend Tony." He goes, "I love Tony Blair." He goes, "He has this really funny accent." Like it was a really self-deprecating speech.
All right, let's check traffic, and we'll take a short break and be back in just a moment.
Morning, Will. At Belair, power line work there at the moment. Main road near Manouta Drive, speeds at 40. Brooklyn Park works on Sedona Brabant Drive near Marion Road. That's affecting both directions. And Seaton, street lighting repairs on Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade. That's as you're heading towards West Lakes Boulevard. Busy this morning, South Road, School Avenue to Everard Avenue, and got a camera Pentfold Road at Roslyn Park. Is your BMW due for a service? Bring your existing BMW service inclusive package and book your next day service online now at Glenelg BMW. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When it comes to AFL, no one has it covered like Rowie Sport Show. The players in the inner sanctum, Rory Sloane, Charlie Dixon, Brodie Smith and Connor Rosie.
Connor Rosie is star!
And the game's leading experts, Lee Matthews, Graham Corns, Caroline Wilson, Kevin Sheedy, Mark Bickley and Tim Ginniver. What a goal! Everything AFL in 2022. Only on Rowie Sports Show.
Good schnitzels are everywhere, but it's hard to find a schnitzel so big, crunchy and tasty. Survivors have warned, whatever you do, don't eat the day before. St Kilda Beach Hotel schnitzels are cut by the resident butcher. They're rolled in the crispiest crumbs, then deep fried to perfection, all in-house. Take the kids to St Kilda Playground, then cross the road to the St Kilda Hotel for the schnitzel of a lifetime. There's a table waiting for you at the St Kilda Beach Hotel.
For the best deal, best service and best experience, you've always gone to Agostino Mitsubishi. Well, here's another incredible reason to visit the team at Nailsworth and Elizabeth, and it's an Australian first. Get 10-year warranty and 10-year cap price servicing on the entire Mitsubishi range. You heard right, that's an incredible 10-year warranty and 10-year cap price servicing on the entire Mitsubishi range. Check it out at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Exclusions and conditions including Mitsubishi servicing apply. Yes!
Unstoppable Afran at 89. Dairy can decrease your risk of fractures in old age by 33%. Getting more Aussie dairy matters. It can make all the difference. Discover more at dairy.com.au/unstoppable. Oh, stop it, Fran.
If you want to build a new home, something that reflects you and your lifestyle, speak with Beechwood Homes. And just so you know, they won't try and sell you a house plan. In fact, there's no house plans until you tell them what you want. So go for it. Start thinking of all the possibilities or get in touch with Beechwood Homes for a few thought starters. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. For inspiration, visit the stunning Beechwood Homes display home in Blackwood Park.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive Officer at Western Hospital Henley Beach. Western is committed to caring for our community. We want to acknowledge all of our staff, nurses, doctors, cleaners, caterers, our wonderful volunteers and our visiting doctors and specialists at Western Hospital. We've worked tirelessly over the last 12 months and beyond to provide a united and dedicated service, and we thank you. If you're seeking an employer who values a trusted, friendly and caring environment, visit westernhospital.com.au.
Summer might be over, but with Mad March upon us, now's the perfect time to get into your local Vinnie shop and pick up a bargain. Until Sunday, you'll save 40% off all clothing and shoes at all Vinnie's SA shops. Choose from a range of affordable pre-loved clothing, including top name brands. And remember, shopping at Vinnie's is good for our environment, good for you, and good for our community. Find something unique at a Vinnie shop near you.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics. But what do you get? Try next-day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Bonus gift cards on selected tech on now at Harvey Norman. Powerful HP 15S laptop now $998 plus $100 gift card. The fully loaded Acer Nitro 5 gaming laptop now $1,998 plus $200 gift card. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 5G now $2,498 plus bonus $500 gift card. Or the TCL 20 Pro now $598 plus $100 gift card. Limited time now at Harvey Norman.
We don't just say we're local, we are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes after 7, Anthony Albanese coming up very shortly. And also, we've got $100 worth of free fuel to give away. Stay listening.
Fuel for thought.
Fuel for thought. When you hear the cue to call, plug in 82230055 to your phone. And when we answer, make sure the first 3, 4, I always get this wrong, 4 words out of your mouth are
4.
Tanks, David and Will.
Tanks, David and Will. That's 4 words.
That's 4 words. Bit like the Meat Tray Friday question this morning, Matt. Describe your suburb in 4 words.
That's right. We had them independently audited to make sure that there's 4 words there.
Exactly right.
A bit like Labor's costings yesterday. We love shining a light on the excellent work of the Zara Foundation, named after the late Zara Ibrahimzadeh, who tragically lost her life in a sickening case of domestic violence. We're good mates with the son, Aman, who's a great friend of the show, and we've got him on now to talk about the upcoming 2022 Zara Foundation Women on the Run. Aman, how you going, mate?
Good morning. Good. How about you guys?
Yeah, good, thanks. So tell us about this run, Women on the Run. I guess that sort of suggests a bit of a play on words about the situation that female victims of domestic violence find themselves in.
Yeah, correct. And that's unfortunately our participants who come through the foundation who have had no other option but to flee abusive homes. And as you and your listeners know, David and Will, we provide financial literacy programs, financial counselling, and even grants to help women go on further study or find employment and essentially rebuild their lives again.
So this event it sounds like a very pleasant and non-onerous thing. It's a 4-kilometre run or walk. I like the walk option there from the Grange Jetty to Henley Jetty, and it's on Sunday the 20th of March. So how much money are you looking at raising?
We're looking at raising $50,000. That's an ambitious target, but nevertheless, that's our target. And I think so far we've raised about 50%. We're close to the $25,000 mark. I've just gone on social media, and I think I've tagged you guys in all of the information in terms of where we meet, and that's the Grange Jetty, which is opposite the Grange Hotel. We're meeting there on Sunday 20th, as you said. We're encouraging people to come along at 8 o'clock for a 9 a.m. Start. There will be coffee and other bits and pieces there. So if you want to, as you said, Dave, if you want to come along for a stroll or a walk, then by all means grab your coffee and get ready for your walk. And it is a gentle walk. It's down to the Henley Jetty and back to the Grange Jetty.
Good stuff. That's great, Aman. The website for people who want to get more information is Zara, which is spelled Z-A-H-R-A. So the website, Zara Foundation, all one word, .org.au. We'll catch up again soon, Aman. Thanks for coming on. 27 minutes after 7. Last night on the sports show, Rowie shared his thoughts on what was the biggest talking point, certainly at that point, in the footy world. Book your service online at North Point Toyota to win the cost back. It is the North Point way. Here's Rowie on Luke Beveridge.
Well, not ideal what Bevo did in that setting, in that environment. I was always taught there is a time and there is a place, but let's just put some levity to this. There is history between the two parties, Morris and Bevo. It's a press conference after a loss. Luke Beveridge is a fighter who shoots from the hip and will always protect his own, and that's what I think we love from him. Don't ever lose your passion for the club. So let's not hang, draw and quarter him. I want to see coaches' emotions. I want to see their true colours. I want to see them unfiltered in those settings, in those environments. People are questioning his position in the game. A man unravelling. Is he equipped to coach? Give me a spell! Are these journalists protecting journos? I'm not really too sure about that, but I've always been taught it is a privilege, a broadcast from the AFL.
He's really out in his own there, bro.
I agree with what Tom said before about. I mean, we were smashing Beveridge yesterday. A lot of people were. It wasn't just journos.
No,
people
it was
going,
unprofessional and unbecoming.
Yeah, but to the bloke's credit, he's apologised.
Totally. Yeah,
but now,
he's done the right
as
thing.
we said, the story has gone in a very, very, very different direction.
Yes.
In the last 12 hours, with the emergence of those utterly appalling comments that were distributed anonymously on social media by Tom Morris. Yeah, well, he didn't distribute them.
No, he's been stood down by Fox, pending an investigation.
I can't see him getting his job back.
It'd be staggering. I don't know how I don't know how that would play out. Long journey ahead on that front. All right, more from Rowie tonight as we gear up for the Crows and the Power starting their AFL seasons this weekend. thanks to North Point Toyota. Book your service online to win the cost back. It is the North Point way. Anthony Albanese coming up next.
G'day, it's Jared for Wayville Mitsubishi. The iconic Wayville Australian Motors Mitsubishi showroom on Goodwood Road is going through an incredible rebuild, but the sales and service centre are still open. Same location, different entrance. Right now you'll need to enter via Goodwood Road for sales and via Davenport Lane for service. Looking for a new Mitsi or servicing your existing car? Get in touch with the amazing team at Wayville Mitsubishi opposite the showgrounds. Driven by Australian Motors. LVD 80.
The wait is nearly over. You can feel the excitement building across the city. The 2022 AFL season is back. For the best seats in the house this season, become an Adelaide Oval football member. With unrivaled access into the Western Stand, adult memberships start at $560. This is a red-hot opportunity for SA footy fans. To secure the best value memberships in footy today, visit adelaideoval.com.au/membership.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny, 29 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
FIVEAA Extra offers clinical Pilates and group exercise classes claimable on private health. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
We're heading into the final full day of campaigning before the state election. Federal Labor leader Anthony Albanese is in town, spruiking Peter Malinauskas for SA's top job. Political expert Professor Hayden Manning says Labor is in the box seat.
Labor in this state, in the exception of the last election, superior campaigners than the Liberals. It's just been the history of it, and I've seen evidence of that. And I think if you want to highlight one particular point, it's their cut-through advertisement call for it, call it what you will. And secondly, Malinauskas presents very well. He's evidently very hungry for the job. He hasn't put a foot wrong.
But Labor has been told to stop claiming ramping is worse than ever in its election advertising material. The Electoral Commissioner has found the statements misleading and inaccurate. Labor's been given until midday today to stop using the ad and issue a statement on its website withdrawing the claims. There's been a hold-up at a Paralowie service station. The Port Wakefield outlet was hit late last night. The offender stole cash. The hunt for the man continues. Rescue teams in the Ukrainian port of Mariupol are searching for survivors of this week's Russian attack on a theatre where more than 1,000 people, mostly women and children, were hiding in a bomb shelter. The historic theatre had children written in large letters outside at the time of the attack. Joe English from the UN's children's charity UNICEF says it's a breach of international law.
We've all seen the images, and thankfully we're hearing the reports that the casualties may be low, but even low casualties. Children killed and children injured. These are great violations.
Australia is preparing to offer additional support for Ukraine. Defence and Foreign Affairs have been meeting with embassy officials in Canberra. The delivery of ammunition, rifles and anti-armour missiles could be in the country within the next 2 weeks. 5% of the Australian population is responsible for consuming more than a third of the alcohol we buy. A new report shows the heaviest drinkers are consuming an average of nearly 8 standard drinks a day. Lead author Megan Cook says retailers are engaging in harmful behaviour.
Greater controls are needed to ensure that alcohol companies are not targeting people who are most at risk. Additionally, we know that increasing the price and restricting the availability of alcohol are two of the best ways to reduce harm.
Ferry operator P&O is under fire after sacking its entire 800-strong workforce in the UK and replacing them with foreign staff. Europe correspondent Brett McLeod reports.
The bombshell announcement by one of Britain's largest ferry companies left passengers and crew alike stranded. All 800 seafaring employees were told via video message they'd been sacked immediately, while passengers were told not to board or to get off the vessels. The company says it had no choice but to use cheaper foreign labour after dire economic conditions caused by the pandemic. But sacked staff have been staging a sit-in on the vessels and blocking access to busy ports such as Dover.
Monarto will be closed from today till next Tuesday while the finishing touches are being put on the zoo's new visitor centre. The multi-million-dollar project will boost capacity to welcome an additional 55,000 people each year. The visitor centre will open to the public next Friday. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide will head to Brisbane today ahead of tomorrow night's blockbuster clash against Brisbane. Lions captain Dane Zorko has told Wide World of Sports he's most excited by the return of forward Cam Rayner.
Certainly a person that we sorely missed last year, especially late in those finals games. He brings just a different dynamic to the game. You know, you liken him to the Petrarcas and the Dustin Martins. They're just so strong and powerful and can break open games. And Cam's a goal kicker as well, which just, adds to that.
Well, Carlton has started the new AFL season on the winners list after blowing Richmond away in the last quarter in a 25-point win. Blues captain Patrick Cripps starred, booting 3 goals and had 30 touches. The Tigers lost soured with injuries to Dion Prestia and Jack Revolt. Blues coach Michael Voss says it was reward for a good pre-season.
We were confident with the pre-season that we rolled out. We were obviously growing some confidence. I think the Melbourne win last week was, something that players really enjoyed and sort of confirmed a little bit that we're in the right direction.
Nick Kyrgios will take on Rafael Nadal this morning in the quarterfinals of the Indian Wells Masters in California. Maria Sakkari has just moved into the semi-finals on the women's side after she had a straight sets win against Elena Rybakina. And there's about half hour to play in the English Premier League clash between Everton and Newcastle, which is still goalless. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Brooklyn Park works on St Donald Brabham Drive near Maureen Road, affecting both directions. FIVEAA power line work there this morning. Main Road near Manouta Drive, speeds reduced. And Seaton street lighting repairs on Tapleys Hill Road. It's near Trimmer Parade as you're heading towards West Lakes Boulevard. Cameras on the drive-in, Barossa Valley Way, Nuriutpa, Cooper Place, Beaumont and Dublin Road at Malala. What's better than getting a mouth-watering Krispy Kreme original glazed donut? Getting 4 of them for a limited time only. Get the $10 4-pack for just $8 at OTR stores. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the 5AA forecast, mostly sunny for your Friday, heading for a top of 29, sunny tomorrow 31, Sunday mostly sunny and 30. Right now it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
March is Epilepsy Awareness Month, Purple Month. Over 60,000 people in SA live with epilepsy today. The Epilepsy Centre in SA trains people, families, schools and workplaces on total seizures first aid for the 52 different types of epilepsy. A 2016 Flinders University study concluded that training and education significantly reduces cost to the health system. Our health does come first. Go to epilepsycentre.org.au for more information.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
This is RB Day with more tales from the bedroom thanks to Supercraft Bedding. Back when you could only buy our mattresses from big department stores, one canny delivery driver named Graham had a run-in with one of our big buyers. He told Graham, "You'll never sell to a department store again." And so, we've been selling direct to you without the middleman ever since. This is RB Day for Supercraft Bedding, building better beds at 42 Richmond Road, Keswick.
Every day, they tell you their news is local. And every day, they bring you news made in Sydney. Watch the news you can trust. Adelaide's 7 News, made right here, mornings, afternoons, and 6 p.m. every night.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 8. We're giving away $100 worth of free fuel very, very shortly. John Blake on the way before 8 o'clock. Then after 8 today, as part of our election wrap, you're going to hear from Peter Malinauskas and Stephen Marshall with their final plea for votes ahead of polling day tomorrow. We've given them each 2 minutes. They've recorded a message for you, the 5AA Breakfast listener, and you'll hear it after 8 o'clock. It's why our next guest is in town, of course, the leader of the Labor Party federally, Anthony Albanese. Albo, good morning.
Good to be with you.
You're on the trail with Peter Malinowski, because I should say from the start, Albo, that we thought this week that we'd get national leaders from either side, past and present, to come on and extol the virtues of their preferred premiers. We had John Howard, a man who you recently compared yourself to on the other day, singing Stephen Marshall's praises, and you're here giving support, obviously, to Mally today.
Absolutely. I was with him last night, handing out pre-poll at Modbury, and then I was with him at the Village Tavern at Golden Grove, I think we were at.
You didn't have a palmy, though, I'm guessing, your new svelte figure?
I did not have. I had a nice steak, I've got to say. Nice steak and a salad. It was good.
No beers?
I did have a beer, but Mally didn't. He's
off the terps.
He is completely. I suspect it might be just for the campaign. I'm not sure. I didn't ask him, but he certainly is. He had a Coke Zero, I can confirm. But
you've been in a lot of campaigns over the years. Have you got a feel? I know you're obviously not based here in South Australia. Do you think that there will be a change of government?
Well, I hope there is, and I've got to say I got confidence from last night. We were talking with people, including a bunch of young nursing students, and they were talking about ambulance ramping as being an issue of the campaign that they were concerned about. We were talking to other punters, just whoever was in the pub, and the response to Peter was extremely supportive, was very, very positive, as it was on the booth at Modbury as well.
So much of the state campaign's being fought over service delivery. It's a state election campaign at the end of the day, and health's the biggest issue. Is there anything that you've observed that you can take from let's just take the polls as what they are at the moment, looks pretty promising for Labor, and apply it to the upcoming federal election, specifically about campaigning in South Australia?
Well, I think health will be an issue in the federal campaign as well. We know there's an aged care crisis, and so we know also that there's issues with the costs of seeing a GP are going up. There's been issues with changes to the Medicare schedule, and part of what Labor stands for, part of our iconic brand, is our support for Medicare as the centrepiece of our healthcare system. And that's something that's identified with Labor for very good reasons, because we genuinely support it, and the other side have to be dragged kicking and screaming to it.
We spoke with the federal president of the AMA the other day, and they were highlighting, touring around the country, the report card on hospitals, and one of the points that he made here in South Australia was about the lack of beds that were leading to some of the issues like ramping that have been state election issues. And he made the point in that interview that this is a joint funding issue from the state and federal government. Can we see and expect to see any more money from an Albanese federal government that will support South Australian hospitals?
Well, Labor will always be better on healthcare at a federal level. And
that's a slogan. Is there any money to back it up?
Well, we're not here to make funding announcements today on 5AA, but those are
you can if
the
you like.
Product of. I'm sure you would like that.
We love free money here in South Australia.
I'm not sure that my finance shadow minister, Katie Gallagher, and Jim Chalmers would approve, but those are subject to negotiations between the Commonwealth and the states, and what we know is that the last time we were in government, we put more money into the hospital system, and that the government, when it changed, they changed those funding arrangements and reduced it. So, Labor's always been more positive, and I think one of the lessons about the pandemic is that if you don't get health outcomes right, then you can't get the economic outcomes right. That one flows from the other, and that's why it's such a strong part of our campaign for the overall theme that we're running on as a better future. And the other thing that we've seen is that federal-state relations, to say the least, have broken down a fair bit. You have less uniformity than you've had before, and one of the things that I'm saying is that we need a more cooperative system between the Commonwealth and state governments of whatever political persuasion. I have a record of being able to negotiate with state governments. I have a good relationship with premiers around the country, and I'm sure that Mally would be someone who I'd be able to sit down with and negotiate a good outcome for South Australia.
Oh, can I ask, there's been some strong criticisms made this morning of the culture within the Labor Party by a former Labor MP, Emma Hussar. There's been other people, former MPs, Michael Danby, very critical about the circumstances leading up to the tragic death of Kimberley Kitching. Do you think that there is a bullying culture within the ALP that you need to address?
No, I don't. And I think that the people who've been targeted here, Penny Wong, Christina Keneally and Katie Gallagher, are people that I'm very proud to have as part of my team. That's not to say that we can't always look to do better. Politics is a really tough business. And
but should it be that tough? I mean, was it made too tough on the late senator that it contributed to her demise?
Well, that's not what the indication is in terms of health. Senator Kitching's death is an absolute tragedy. 52 years of age. She has family and friends who are mourning her, and the entire Labor family is mourning Kimberley Kitching. And the idea that this be politicised in the way that it has, I think, is
to
really
that point, though.
unfortunate.
I get the sensitivities of it, but isn't the reality that there are people who are mourning her in different ways, and that there are clearly people within the Labor Party who are mourning her out of anger because they feel that she was treated so shabbily that it contributed to her death?
I just don't think that's a fair assessment, David.
But that's not my assessment. That is their assessment.
Well, there are issues within the Victorian branch that have been well documented. That is why you had National Executive into the Victorian branch, because of some of the conflicts that were there, the way that things were playing out, and that's why we stepped in and had Jenny Macklin and Steve Bracks do an entire review of the branch. But Kimberley Kitching, someone who I appointed to the front bench, she rose pretty quickly in her second term. She was appointed to the front bench. She was making a contribution, and it's an absolute tragedy that contribution was all too short.
Absolutely. Well, good luck on the hustings today, Albo, and who knows, things could change tomorrow.
We will see. I'm somewhat stunned to learn last night off Mally, though, that they don't count all the people who are voting early until Monday. I mean, what's the go there?
It makes our election night coverage very difficult.
What explains that?
Oh, well, look, Sundays are sacrosanct, aren't they?
It'll be like 40%.
If you want some completely uninformed...
40% of the people.
If you want some completely uninformed analysis, tune in 10:30 p.m. to 5AA Saturday night.
Saturday night. I'll tune in
making all sorts of random guesses.
You say, we don't know.
No. Oh, well, we won't say that.
we won't just make it up.
We don't need to say that. That'll be obvious to the discerning listener from the very start.
It is a very, very strange system. And I think that has to change. Whoever wins on Saturday, people deserve to know the outcome of an election on Saturday night. So there's my 2 cents worth.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for coming in. Apologies, if I'd known you were coming in, I wouldn't have worn my thongs. Anthony Albanese, great to see you in the studio.
Yes, you would have. That's just not true. And Will would have still worn shorts.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not.
He's not pretending.
That's right. Short wearing and proud. All right, let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will. At Seaton, street lighting repairs, Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade. That's as you're heading towards West Lakes Boulevard. Brooklyn Park works on Sir Donald Brabham Drive near Marion Road, affecting both directions, and power line work this morning at Belair, Main Road near Manouta Drive. Busy South Road, School Avenue to Everard Avenue, and we've got cameras Cooper Place, Beaumont, Dublin Road at Malala. Jack's Tyres and Auto are now open at Gillis Plains in Edwardstown. Call Jack's today to make a booking. Jack's Tyres and Auto. Peace of mind driving. Search Jack's. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Less than 1 week remains until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Don't miss your chance to live mortgage-free in a fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in Somerton Park with $500,000 to spend on whatever you want. Plus, you're entered into more than 15,000 prize draws. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets today at homelottery.com.au. Licence M141133.
You can't go past the IGA Big Deal Sale for great specials right across the store. Like Nescafe coffee sachets, 6 to 10 pack selected varieties, only $3.50 each. Better than half price. Now at your local IGA. Offer ends March 22. Participating stores only. Excludes Foodland.
If you'll need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics, but what do you get? Try next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Now, apart from buying a home, an in-ground pool is probably one of the bigger investments you'll make. So just like buying a home, do your research like we did. I've got to say, emailing Rainwise Pools and saying, hey guys, I'm keen, we've been talking about this for years, I want to do it, easily one of the best decisions that we've ever made as a family.
You seem like a happier person.
Oh yeah,
I've noticed. You're 5%.
Well adjusted.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You got that pool glow.
Yeah, I have. I'll be in it later on this afternoon, perfect pool weather. And look, if you're going to get a pool, do it with Rainwise, but you better get in fast if you're going to get on the board, as they call it. You've got to get your name up on the board. Such a good company. They do things by the book. They consistently win awards, and we settled on Rainwise because they're a clear standout, especially with more than 15 years in the business.
I like this part too, because if you're anything like me, the big stopping point for doing just about anything is the thought of multiple phone calls, having to do the. Don't be so mean, David.
You don't like
you know
effort,
what I mean?
do you?
But yeah, I don't like effort. So that includes things like ringing. Imagine having to fill out council forms. That alone would stop me from go down the path.
You don't have to do any of it.
They Rainwise do it all for you. So they'll do the council approval, they'll organise the landscaping, the fencing. Don't even think about it. It'll be there. They'll take care of it for you. The only thing you need to do is make sure you've got a dry towel.
And look, most of all, we love the fact that Rainwise Pools is a family business, so they are really driven by family values.
If you're thinking of a pool, just be aware the 2022 spots are filling fast at Rainwise Pools, so don't wait. Get in touch now. Visit rainwisepoolsadelaide.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Hey there, Georgie girl.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
8 to 8. If you want $100 worth of free fuel, call us right now. 8223 0055 is the number. And when you get a full tank, head to Jarmer's Kitchen. Make that your first stop when you don't have to worry about petrol prices. A casual eatery for the family, friends, and any occasion. 18 Park Terrace at Bowden. 8223 0055. We're going to answer a random phone call. The 3 words we want to hear out of your mouth are Tanks, David and Will. That's 4 words. Tanks, David and Will. Tanks, David and Will. You say anything else, you don't get it.
That's right.
It's a hard world.
Tanks, David and Will. We will also accept Tanks, Will and David.
Here's how it works.
Tanks, David and Will.
Oh, yes.
Tanks, David and Will.
Beautiful. Oh, well done.
Tanks, David and Will.
There you go.
Oh, no.
There was a bit of a misfire yesterday. Simple instructional video.
Just some of the highlights there
That's
from this
right.
competition.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to when that one goes for 3.5 minutes.
How good's the yakety sax, though?
It is excellent. Never
Everything's
gets old.
funny with yakety sax.
It
Played
is.
over the top of it.
Good morning, listener.
Good morning.
Oh, no. Tragedy. Oh, it's people, and the
Just
worst
say
part
Tanks,
is
David and Will.
it's people's politeness that catches
I
them
know.
out. Let's go to another one. Good morning.
Morning.
No,
just say Tanks, David and Will.
No, we need Tanks, David and Will. It's a prize.
Don't say morning though, Will. It's entrapment.
Is it? Let's try another one. Hello.
Hi, Tanks.
No,
Will and
sorry, Kathy. First 3 words just need to be Tanks.
Just
David
say nothing
and Will.
other than Tanks, David and Will.
Hello.
Thanks, David and Will.
Yes! Oh, there we go. And a good day to you, sir. That's...
He has health problems.
Pop into Jarman's Kitchen, a casual eatery for family and friends at any occasion. 18 Park Terrace at Bowden. All right, it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions. They're looking for subcontract drivers right now. Call 13 13 64. That's 13 13 64.
Well, if you haven't heard, there's a state election on tomorrow. You have to go and take a pencil and be democratic.
Now we've got to go to the state election. Yes, we've got to go to the state election. You've got to vote. Don't forget to vote, baby. You've got to vote. And take your own pencil. You've got to vote. It's compulsory, baby. You've got to vote. Every 4 years this thing lops, and we have to choose which idiots get the fake jobs. And we sometimes wish we could vote for a horse or a tree. They'd probably do a better job for you and me. You've got to vote. Don't forget to vote, baby. You've got to vote. And take your own pencil. You've got to vote. It's compulsory, baby. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote.
And of course, the other thing that's happened is a little game called football has come back, and there's lots of people really happy about it.
Oh yes, now it's time. The goalposts are up, and we're all primed. 'Cause we've missed being at the Oval. It's just why we exist. We've been sitting around like stale bottles of piss. Whatever we did, whatever it was, we didn't like it. But now the footy's back for good. The footy's back, the footy's back, the footy's back for good. Whatever the tune, a wooden spoon, we'd still like it. 'Cause the footy's back for good. The footy's back, the footy's back, no, the footy's back for good. The footy's back for good.
And so just going back to that election we were talking about, by Sunday, or at least Monday, we'll see all those corflutes come down. Well, they're supposed to. And if they don't take them down, they get into big trouble. Well, little trouble.
You put them up and up and they change my mind. But if you don't remove them, you could be fined. So take them down. Down, 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 down. Woo-hoo. We've been through this before, and now they're just an eyesore. So take them down. Just take them down. Corflutes. Just take them down. Corflutes. Just take them down. Corflutes. Just take them down. Well, all this time we've had to look at your face. What you don't know is we think you're a disgrace. So take them down. Down, 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 down. Woo-hoo. Throw them all in the bin, 'cause you're all ugly as sin. So take them down.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. The last word from the late prospective premiers coming up after 8 o'clock this morning. In our election wrap, you'll hear from Peter Malinauskas and Stephen Marshall. Uninterrupted. They're going to get 2 minutes each to try and sway your vote. Here's their best pitch. They're making it to 5AA Breakfast listeners, and you're going to hear it very, very shortly. We've got a meat tray to give away as well, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. 4 words that describe a suburb. Lots of good ones coming from the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. We'll get to some more of those too. And a water winner in about 60 minutes' time.
The 2022 state election is here, and 5AA is keeping you informed.
Building a stronger future for South Australia.
Join David and Will tomorrow night for up-to-the-minute updates as the numbers roll in. We'll keep you informed during our live coverage of the Power Lions clash, followed by rolling election coverage right through until midnight.
I'm making the promises I know I can deliver.
The 2022 state election with David and Will, tomorrow night on Adelaide's 5AA.
For over 38 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. And right now, Steinborners are the place to go for top dollar on your trade-in. They will do any trade, and this month they are offering a further $1,500 bonus on all trade-ins. So go out to one of Steinborner's 8 locations for Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford and SA's best range of used cars. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's license? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Adelaide rents are at an all-time high. They've grown by more than 8% over the past year with really strong tenant demand, and in some areas demand is greater than supply. Landlords are regularly receiving over 100 inquiries at their property, and some are renting before they even make it onto the market. We know our friends at Toop and Toop work across all suburbs. In fact, we can tell you right now they're working with 162 tenants in Nord, 47 in Prospect, 30 in Beauden, and they're all searching for their perfect property in these specific locations. If you're thinking of renting out your property and you'd like to know how many tenants Toop and Toop are working with in your suburb, simply visit toop.com.au.
I'm high!
As if the Excelsior Hotel wasn't already a crowd favourite. Now they're doing half-price lunches every day. So walk into the Excelsior, plonk yourself down and enjoy half-price main meals from a stellar menu every day between 12 and 2:30 p.m. But it's for this month only. The Excelsior Hotel. Feels like coming home, but better. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny 29 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Federal Labor leader Anthony Albanese is in town supporting Peter Malinaskis ahead of tomorrow's election. They had dinner at the Village Tavern at Golden Grove last night. Mr Albanese has told David and Will he gets the feeling there will be a change of government in SA.
I got confidence from last night. We were talking to other punters, just whoever was in the pub, and the response to Peter was extremely supportive, very, very positive, as it was on the booth at Modbury.
Meantime, Labor's been ordered to stop using election ads, claiming ramping is worse than ever. The Electoral Commissioner has found the statement is misleading and inaccurate. Cash has been stolen during a hold-up at Paralowie. The Port Wakefield Road service station was hit late last night by a man with what appears to be a gel blaster. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says no one was hurt.
The staff member was shaken by the incident, but thankfully not physically injured. Police attended and searched the area for the suspect. He's described as a young man of Aboriginal appearance, aged in his late teens or early 20s.
COVID cases in the state are continuing to surge, doubling in just 3 days. We recorded 4,474 infections yesterday. There are now more than 19,500 active cases across the state. It's causing concern in our schools. Just over 3% of public students are absent due to the virus. And a new testing regime will try to estimate the extent of hidden COVID cases in the community. Madeline McNeil has more.
The National Surveillance Program is being launched to work out how many people in Australia may have caught COVID-19 but didn't realise. Thousands of blood samples will be tested for COVID antibodies, which appear when someone has been infected. The program will identify those who had the virus but were asymptomatic or who didn't get tested if they had symptoms. Experts believe Omicron infections could have been up to 10 times higher than what was detected during the initial wave of the variant.
Survivors are beginning to emerge from a destroyed theatre in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. Around 1,200 people were believed to be using the basement of the venue to take shelter from Russia's invasion. Moscow denies it targeted the building with an airstrike. Arnold Schwarzenegger wants the Russians to know what's really going on and not fall for the Putin propaganda. He's posted a video message telling them to look beyond the lies of their leader.
I'm sending this message through various different channels to reach my dear Russian friends and the Russian soldiers serving in Ukraine. I'm speaking to you today because there are things that are going on in the world that are being kept from you. Terrible things that you should know about.
It's World Sleep Day. The Sleep Health Foundation says getting enough sleep is equally important as having a good diet and exercising. The foundation's CEO, Dr. Moira Junger, says many of us underestimate the power of a good night's sleep.
Well, we can all cope with a little bit of reduced sleep. It's just the accumulation over time. Sometimes poor sleep doesn't manifest till the next day after the poor night. It's important if you have had a poor night's sleep to actually think about having daytime naps wherever you can, that very, very short one, and also prioritising sleep the next night.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
It's all about the footy, Tom Wren.
Certainly is, Mel, and there's a big game coming up on Sunday. Adelaide will trim its squad of 26 back to 22 later today as it prepares for Sunday's season opener against Fremantle. Josh Rochelle and Jake Saligo will make their AFL debuts, while Jordan Dawson will play his first game since crossing over from Sydney. Captain Rory Sloane telling Rowie Dawson brings a lot of qualities.
He just gives us a whole nother dimension. His ball use is incredible, and that's what you guys see, but what I've seen this whole summer is just leadership, game awareness, game smarts out on the footy field, and that's what I'm excited of what he'll bring to the footy club.
Now, Freo will be without two of their stars, Nat Fyfe and Sean Darcy. However, forward Sam Swakowski says they'd rather take precautions than send in players with niggles.
Fyfe, you know, he's had quite a modified pre-season, and it's just a matter of getting the volume of work into him. And, you know, we want our guys coming in at tip-top shape, and it is a long season with 22 games and hopefully finals. So hopefully the extra week will help him be back in for round 2.
And there was one game last night with Carlton 25-point winners against Richmond. Well, the Adelaide 36ers will take on Cairns tonight as they look to break a 5-game losing streak. Meantime, a great win for the Adelaide Lightning last night as they smashed the UC Capitals by 31 points. It's deep into stoppage time in the English Premier League clash between Everton and Newcastle. That match still all square at 0-0. The Melbourne Storm has kicked off round 2 of the NRL with a 15-14 point win against South Sydney. And 5-time Major League Baseball All-Star Freddie Freeman is leaving World Series champions the Atlanta Braves after 15 years. He's signing a 6-year deal with the LA Dodgers, reportedly worth $220 million. Not bad, Mel. That's the 5AA Sport.
Very nice. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Belair, powerline work on Main Road near Manouta Drive, speeds reduced. Brooklyn Park works on Sedona Brabham Drive near Marin Road, affecting both directions. Seaton street lighting repairs this morning, Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade, and busy South Road School Avenue to Everard Avenue. Cameras to Kettleville Terrace, Kent Town, Glenburn Road, Burnside. Get $20 off at Coles when you spend $250 or more online. Ends March 22. Head to coles.com.au and use promo code SAVE20. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, mostly sunny today, heading for a top of 29, sunny tomorrow 31, and mostly sunny on Sunday with a top of 30. Right now it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Seven minutes after 8, Orazio Fantasia coming up in just a moment. Port fans, maybe you've got a question for Orazio. You can fire it through on the Telstra Storm Outback text line. First game this weekend. A couple of new faces in the Port Adelaide team.
Big test for Port.
Massive test.
Brisbane, one of the sides to beat this year.
Yeah, big one early.
At home at the Gabba.
Looking forward to chatting with Orazio. That's coming up in this half hour on the
game
program.
of the round, close, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, the grand final rematch was pretty good. Sydney Derby will be good too.
Wednesday night doesn't count as part of the round. That's an exhibition.
Like last week.
when footy actually starts on the weekend. That's coming up in a moment, as is our final election wrap. We just wanted to give the leaders of the Labor Party and Liberal Party, Stephen Marshall, Peter Malinauskas, a chance to speak directly to you, the 5AA Breakfast listener, and basically fire their best shot. What's the best you've got?
Fire away.
It was amazing.
Pat Benatar said.
We told them both they've got 2 minutes. Stephen Marshall went for 1:14. Peter Malinauskas went for 1:13.
Seriously?
Yeah, remarkable. That was.
It's funny, isn't it?
Totally unedited.
Maybe
Maybe
they're sick of the sound of their own voices too.
Or maybe they've distilled the message down now to its purest elements.
Well, that's it.
They know what cuts through.
Yeah, totally.
So,
a good campaigner. I can remember following John Howard around in 1998, the GST election. He gave the same speech every day for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Same speech every day. Did not waver once from it. It was amazing. Just total discipline, as he demonstrated again the other morning.
Those you'll hear from them in just a moment. But first, let's get to some more Meat Tray Friday entries, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect.
I like this one. Andrew on the Facebook live stream, Kersbrook, an apple a day. An apple a day. I love going up there.
Apple a day.
You can buy them direct. One here, Kay in Golden Grove, Adelaide's best green belt. I like that one. John Foster down south at Warrenna, I'm here, you wish.
That's good.
Yeah. One here from Craig, Largs Bay, concrete boat garden ornaments. Now, Marcus, as a local, you're allowed to make jokes at your own expense. He says, Elizabeth, please lock your car. That is harsh. Andamuka, world's finest crystal opal. Here's some good ones. North Adelaide, turn the sound down. There's another earthier version of that from Peter, which is shut the blank up. Festa here, one for you, Pendo. Unley contained dog poo park. Calm the red legs here, right? It is true. All these cashed up Unley Park types with their Timberland jackets and their thin denim trousers and the boots, walking their matching schnauzers through the hallowed turf of Unley Oval.
Is that a thing that happens there, is it?
Yeah, because the Unley Council made the Oval's not allowed to have the fence up all the time, so all these rich toffs go through there with their pedigreed dogs pooping everywhere.
Who cleans that up?
Well, good people at the Sturt Football Club, I would imagine. One here from Peter. He says that he bumped into Rob Lucas at a City Cross lotto shop yesterday and he was buying a lottery ticket. He says that he thinks that's a sign of the weekend coming. Would that be that be a good omen or a bad omen?
I think the reality is Rob Lucas isn't going to be a part of the picture whatever happens on the weekend. So his life will be about lotto tickets and watching
Westies
and St Kilda.
Oh, St Kilda.
St Kilda, I think. Yeah.
There's West Adelaide in the SANFL.
West Adelaide and St Kilda.
But St Kilda in the AFL. Another one here from Rob for North Adelaide. Not on my watch. That's good. Upper Hermitage, looking down on creation. Borrowing a line from the Carpenters there. Good stuff. Keep them coming, folks.
4 words to describe a suburb, 82230000, or text us on 044808 1395. Time for our final election at 8.
SA decides. Election at 8.
As we've been saying, we wanted to give the prospective leaders of the state an opportunity to have a final word ahead of polling day tomorrow. So this is what we told them. You've got 2 minutes, microphone, we'll roll the tape. You tell our listeners your best pitch. What's your best shot? Your best material that you've honed. And as we mentioned just a moment ago, amazingly, within a second of each other, they both neither took 2 minutes. Peter Malinauskas took 1:13. Stephen Marshall took 1:14. He is the incumbent and the premier. So we'll let Stephen Marshall go first. Here is the premier with his pitch to you.
At the heart of this election, it's all about who you trust to deliver a stronger future for our state. Now, we've been in for 4 years. We've had some headwinds, of course, with the coronavirus, but overall South Australia has done very, very well. We've got the fastest growing economy in the country, record employment, we've had record exports, record investment, but most importantly, we've turned off that brain drain. There's now an opportunity for young people not to move to Sydney or Singapore, Hong Kong or London to get their dream job. They can get it right here in South Australia. The only thing which is a risk now to the momentum that we've created, is a change of government on Saturday. Look, the reality is Peter Malinauskas has never held an economic portfolio. He's the former union boss and he's out there spraying money right across the state. But I think everybody appreciates when Labor promise money at the lead up to an election, it's ultimately the taxpayers who are going to pay. So this is a very important election for the people of South Australia. We've got that momentum going in the right direction. We're focused on delivering cost of living concessions to the people of South Australia with lower energy prices, water prices, CTP, discounts on public education and, of course, the sports vouchers. So much momentum. Let's not change the government this Saturday.
That's the Premier, Stephen Marshall. Here is Peter Malinauskas with his open mic moment.
At this election, we as South Australians have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to think about the long-term future of our state. We only get one shot at recovering from a global pandemic, and I want to use that opportunity to actually think about how we invest in our most precious of resources to have sustainable long-term economic growth. And that resource, of course, is our people, which is why we've got a substantial and comprehensive education, training and skills policy. But the real big issue is the immediate concern that all South Australians have, which is, of course, a health system in complete crisis. We cannot sustain an arrangement where 000 is being called and ambulances aren't rolling up on time. People, night after night, we keep hearing, are literally dying waiting for an ambulance. That level of state failure needs a solution, not a blame game, and that's why I'm taking to this election a comprehensive plan to dramatically increase our capacity within the health system. More beds, more ambos, more doctors, more nurses, but critically, the biggest investment in a generation in mental health. That puts our health system back on track so we can focus then on the long-term future of our state.
Now, just to be clear, they didn't hear what each other had said. They came in on separate days. Amazing, they almost sounded like a response to one another.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Because we've got to the point where the messages are so well refined. They know what the attack points are. They know what the perceived weaknesses are. They know what the strengths are.
So they're answering imagined barbs from each other.
It's felt like, well,
in their absence.
It felt almost bizarre, Peter Malinauskas opening up talking about the economy, which had been seen as Stephen Marshall's strong suit and what he was attacking him on towards the end of his piece. Now, he had no way of knowing that that's what it was going to be. But, yeah, just so you know, those two things were recorded days apart.
Over to you, South Australia. We report, you decide, to quote the good people at Fox News. And we'll be here tomorrow night, 10:30 till midnight. Will we get a result?
I don't think so.
I'm saying we will.
Okay.
I reckon we'll get a result by 11:30.
You'll be happy to call it? By 11:30? Okay.
Oh, I was guessing. I mean, I don't really know anything. But
David decides.
That's right. This has gone on for far too long, and we need to declare a winner. No, I think, I just got a hunch that it will be apparent what's going to happen.
Okay. Well,
I've had hunches before that have been way off.
Well, but that might be interesting to listen to as well.
Well, that's our one promise to you, is it definitely will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So
none of this po-faced, chin-scratching ABC type analysis on 5AA. It's going to be loose, it's going to be fun, there's going to be pizza.
I can't say it any better than that. 16 minutes after 8. All right, we're going to check traffic. Orazio Fantasia is coming up in just a moment. And then after 8:30 today, the Lord Mayor, Sandy Verschoor, who's had her own battle with COVID recently. We'll ask her about how she's gone with that. But also lots of election-related issues that have tie-ins to City Council business, because one of the most hotly contested seats in this election is, of course, the marginal seat of Adelaide. So we'll get into that as well. Let's check traffic.
At FIVEAA, power line work on Main Road near Manouta Drive. Speeds reduced there at the moment. Brooklyn Park works on Donald Drive near Marion Road continue. That's affecting both directions. And keep an eye out for street lighting repairs at Seaton, Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade. Busy this morning, Anzac Highway as you're heading into the city near Leader Street. And we've got cameras Barossa Valley Way, Nuriutpa, Cooper Place at Beaumont. Get ready to drop anchor this evening with the arrival of a brand new reality series streaming only on Hey You. Don't miss Below Deck Down Under. Head to heyu.com to try for free. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Roey's Sports Show.
Luke Beveridge is a fighter who shoots from the hip and will always protect his own.
And this sort of stuff happens. You're an embarrassment to what you do, mate. You're an embarrassment.
Have a listen to what Kara said and all that.
I think it should be a six-figure fine myself, but I think Luke Beveridge needs to look at whether he's equipped to coach.
Give me a spell!
4 p.m. weekdays.
Are these journalists protecting journos? Too many journos just want to be the story and maybe bigger than the story.
Roey's Sports Show on 5AA.
Less than 1 week remains until the absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Don't miss your chance to live mortgage-free in a fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in Somerton Park with $500,000 to spend on whatever you want. Plus, you're entered into more than 15,000 prize draws. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets today at homelottery.com.au. Licence M141133.
If a new in-ground pool is on your family's radar, do the wise thing and talk to Rainwise Pools. Wise, because Rainwise Pools are a family-run and operated business with strong family values at the core of everything they do. Wise, because Rainwise Pools have won multiple awards here and nationally. Wise, because Rainwise Pools offer a 30-year structural and the new Claw Shield technology on all fiberglass pools. Be pool wise. Visit rainwise.com.au. 2021 Fiberglass Pool Builder of the Year.
Sold by McGain again.
And as we keep hearing, homes are still selling quickly at the moment, so it's important to get along to these open inspections.
Tomorrow from 1:30 till 2, Scott McFarlane is opening 5 Taylor Terrace, Christie's Beach. That's rolls off the tongue nicely, doesn't it? Where would you live? Taylor Terrace.
Taylor Terrace.
This superb, perfectly maintained 3-bedroom home is only 2 streets from the sea. Oh, lovely. Complete with a fully self-contained 1-bedroom granny flat. Perfect for the extended family or for an Airbnb, 649 to 699K.
Lucky old granny living in that one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just a short stroll from the beach. And then it's all happening in Christie's. Tomorrow from 2:30 to 3, Scott is also opening 8 Sydney Crescent, Christie's Beach. This spacious 2-bedroom townhouse is located just 50 metres from the famous Christie's Beach Esplanade, and it features a secure private rear garden with ocean views for just $569. Ocean views. $569 to $599K.
That's remarkable. So for all the info, take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at mcgain.com.au.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas into sketches, then drawings, and finally a home you can live a beautiful life in. That's the really exciting thing about building with Beechwood Homes. They'll build the home you want. So collect your thoughts, your ideas, your Pinterest boards, whatever, and let's talk. Because life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Every day, they tell you their news is local. And every day, they bring you news made in Sydney. Watch the news you can trust. Adelaide's 7 News, made right here, mornings, afternoons, and 6 p.m. every night. We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes after 8. There's a lot of nice things about footy season coming back. I think your week sort of develops a natural rhythm to it. You know where you are and what you're going to be and what you've got to look forward to. Structure. Life has meaning again, if you wanted to get really deep about it. It also means we're going to speak to some of my favourite guests.
Orazio Fantasia, intercepted almost by Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia, Orazio Fantasia, Orazio Fantasia, Orazio. Ho, 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 it's magic.
Thanks to Rainwise Pools, family-owned, building pools in SA for over 15 years. Google Rainwise Pools Adelaide. Welcome back to 5AA Breakfast, Orazio Fantasia. Good morning to you, mate.
Good morning, guys. I've missed that.
So do we.
We missed it too. We missed it very much, mate. How was your break? And tell us, we had the dude in yesterday. He had a COVID run-in. Have you had the Rona yet, mate?
Yeah, I have.
You've had it too?
Yeah, I had it over Christmas, or just after Boxing Day. But I've had a bit of an interrupted, I guess, off-season and pre-season, really. I had surgery in the off-season and then, Rona over the Christmas sort of break and then just started running back this week. So it's good to be back running.
Mate, don't tell us you were locked in a room while the rest of the family were all eating cannolis and all of the excellent lasagna and everything.
Lasagna, yeah, of course. And I just got mine delivered to the front door of the bedroom.
Seriously?
That's all I had. Yeah.
That's
all it
miserable. Yeah,
Oh.
so you go from Christmas where that happens, then you get your knee. You've had the knee in surgery wise. How's that pulling up? You mentioned you're back running. What's the ETA on your return to footy?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said earlier, it's great to be running, but I'm not putting a specific time frame on it. I know that it's probably a bit boring and not giving you a lot, but I need to get fit, boys, to be honest. I haven't really done too much running prior to the surgery that I had in February, so I really need to just get fit in probably at least, 6 to 8 weeks of getting fit before because when I get in, I want to stay in. I don't want to come in for 2 weeks and come out again.
Yeah, and look, the reality of the club at the moment is that you want to make noise in the finals. Not round one is a different proposition. You're at a different development point. It's at the business end that you want everyone fit and firing and ready to go. To the game this weekend, a couple of new faces that we'll see. The second ever father-son, Jackson Mead's going to debut. Jeremy Finlayson, of course, comes across from GWS. What can you tell Port fans about the two new faces that they might not otherwise know?
Yeah, huge for media. I think watching from the inside, people don't realise what he's gone through. He's had a couple of COVID years and then a pretty serious internal injury where he ruptured his spleen, I'm pretty sure. So pretty rare to do that in the first couple of seasons. But, mate, he's fit and strong and he'll run all day. I think he'll probably play a bit more high forward than a genuine mid, but, he'll work into that. And Jez, he had a little bit of a scare yesterday. I'm not sure if everyone saw that, but he just had a little bit of a back sort of spasmy type thing. He got knocked in the back and just seized up a little bit, but I think after he came off the track, he was feeling much better. So hopefully he'll be right to go. He's pretty special player. I didn't really realise how good of a player he actually was in terms of, and I know that's probably a bit harsh, but I didn't really watch too much GWS footy, but mate, I mean, seeing him move for a big guy and picking the ball up off his toes and turning and he can kick left and right foot. Like not many big boys can do that, and he loves playing in the ruck, which is also, not many big boys as a key forward like him sitting in the ruck. So he's a special talent, that's for sure.
Can I ask you, Archie, I'm not trying to put the screws on you, but after bowing out in the prelim last year, there's a lot of expectation and probably a bit of even impatience among some Port fans about the need to go one better this year, and obviously Ken's been at the helm for a while. Do the players feel that pressure internally, and how do you manage it?
Not so much pressure. I think we put a bit of expectation on ourselves because we obviously want to achieve the ultimate as well. So I think we're aligned with the fans, but we sort of, and Ken mentioned it a fair bit over the last probably month, we really focused on and reviewed that game, and we looked at what we need to get better at.
But you didn't have to watch it. You didn't have to watch it again, did you?
Not the whole game. Not the whole game. Definitely not the whole game. Couldn't watch.
That's almost like the Crows camp, making you sit down and watch that.
No, we just reviewed it pretty heavily, and just these are the focus areas that we sort of worked on through the pre-season and a lot around our contest and getting better against those top two teams. And you saw Wednesday night those top two teams going at it again and how good they were. So we know what we need to do, and hopefully we've done that in the break.
Well, all right, so we look forward to having you in the studio, mate. We understand that's going to be a reality this year as well. It'd be great to have you in here to talk about the year, and we're great for part of it to have you back on the field as well, mate. So it's good to chat again. All the best recovery-wise. We'll chat again next week.
Thank you, boys. I'll make sure I bring in a few more coffees and some pastries.
Oh, mate,
yeah, that was excellent.
You're a very popular man.
Fantastic.
Happy days. See you, boys.
Good on you, Orazio. He's just a terrific bloke. He is. Orazio Fantasia, thanks to Rainwise Pools, family-owned building pools in SA for over 15 years. Google rainwisepoolsadelaide.com.
Can't stress this enough either. While the broadcast proper of the election night extravaganza starts at 10:30, 5AA is also going to be making broadcasting history. We're going to be the only radio station ever to do a live broadcast of an AFL game that is going to include the new innovation of around the grounds state election coverage, where Will and I will be popping up mid-commentary with a special short sharp and shiny halftime package about the key seats amid the call of the Port Brisbane blockbuster. So don't miss it.
Yep, I'm fascinated to see how this is going to work. Haven't called a game. 28 minutes after 8, 5AA News is coming up. The Lord Mayor
What
very
could
shortly.
possibly go wrong?
North Point Toyota is donating a community vehicle to organisations in need. I'm here with Leah from the Ambulance Employees Association. Leah, what does the North Point community vehicle mean to you?
North Point's community vehicle means so much. The Ambos are really doing it tough. Having the opportunity to get out and visit them on the front line with a snack and a chat goes a long way.
Inquire about how North Point Toyota's community vehicle can help your organisation. Supporting our community. It's the North Point way.
We're Lumo Energy SA, fully Australian owned, locally focused, proud community partner of the Adelaide Fringe. Oh, and we have great deals on electricity and gas too.
And Lumo Rewards.
Ah yes, and local offers and discounts with Lumo Rewards. You really do get more with Lumo SA. Call 131 5866 or search Lumo. SA residential customers only. Lumo Energy SA not available in all areas. Eligibility criteria and conditions apply. See website for details.
March is Epilepsy Awareness Month, Purple Month. Over 60,000 people in SA live with epilepsy today. The Epilepsy Centre in SA trains people, families, schools and workplaces on total seizures first aid for the 52 different types of epilepsy. A 2016 Flinders University study concluded that training and education significantly reduces cost to the health system. Our health does come first. Go to epilepsycentre.org.au for more information.
Hi, I'm Izzy and my family runs St. Louis Home Care, which was started by my great-grandma 75 years ago. I wanted to introduce you to Deb, a carer and our receptionist. She's great.
Hi, Izzy.
Deb, you've been at St. Louis for 10 years. What do you love about it?
Oh, it's a great family-friendly environment and everyone's happy.
That's because St. Louis got them covered.
With everything from shopping and meals to gardening and home maintenance.
And don't forget the social activities. Google St. Louis Home Care to find out how my family can help take care of yours.
If it pops, or if it twists, you'll find it at FIVEAA. If it comes in a can, or is best in a glass, you'll find it at FIVEAA. If you serve it on the rocks, or with a paper umbrella. In fact, whether it's wine, beer or spirits, whatever you fancy, you'll find it at FIVEAA. FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor stores.
Kev?
Yeah?
Why are my garden gnomes painted gold?
Gold is the colour of winners.
Yes, and...
It symbolises that we, as a people, are winning with restrictions being eased in our pubs.
Of course, yeah, then...
Citizens, one and all, restrictions in pubs have been eased. Oh, happy days.
Do you think garden gnomes care about restrictions being eased?
Oh, they care. You know, they're little people in plaster, but they care.
Let's go to the pub.
Nice idea. A message from the AHASA. It's time we had some fun.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny, 29 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates and group exercise classes claimable on private health. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
We're entering the final stages of the state election campaign with health and economic management the key issues. Federal Labor leader Anthony Albanese is in Adelaide campaigning with Peter Malinauskas. He's told David and Will health will be a key plank of the federal election campaign too.
We know there's an aged care crisis. We know also that there's issues with the costs of seeing a GP are going up. There's been issues with changes to the Medicare schedule, and part of what Labor stands for, part of our iconic brand, is our support for Medicare.
While the Electoral Commissioner has told the Labor Party to stop claiming ramping is worse than ever in SA because it's misleading and inaccurate. There's been a hold-up at a Paralowie service station. The Port Wakefield Road outlet hit just before 11:30 last night. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says the offender stole cash.
After examining the CCTV, it appears that the firearm was likely a gel blaster, but obviously the staff member was unable to see that at the time, and as far as they were concerned, they were being threatened with a firearm, so it's terrifying.
The hunt for the man continues. It's a case of deja vu when it comes to COVID in SA. Case numbers are growing, and so are the lines at COVID testing sites across Adelaide. 4,474 infections were reported yesterday. 132 people are in hospital, 8 in ICU. There are now just over 19,500 active cases across the state. A coalition of unions and community groups is calling on the federal government to do more to tackle workplace sexual harassment. The group is highlighting 8 legislative reforms to make the workplace safer. ACTU President Michelle O'Neill says employers should be obligated to prevent harassment.
A key change that they've refused to put in place is a duty on employers to prevent sexual harassment at work wherever they can. It's one thing to have a process to complain, that's important, but more importantly, there needs to be an obligation to prevent sexual harassment.
More than a third of alcohol purchased in Australia is consumed by only 5% of the population. A new study shows the heaviest drinkers consume almost 8 drinks a day. Lead author Megan Cook says it's concerning.
We know that alcohol is related to over 200 different health conditions, including a range of cancers. But you also think about, the harms to others as well. So even those who don't consume alcohol-related violence, domestic violence.
US President Joe Biden has labelled Russian President Vladimir Putin a thug and a murderous dictator. Michael Genovese reports.
The comments are an escalation in language from the US President.
Now you have Ireland and Great Britain and the Republic standing together against a murderous dictator. A pure thug who is waging an immoral war against the people of Ukraine.
It comes a day after Joe Biden labelled Vladimir Putin a war criminal. The US president will meet with Xi Jinping of China tomorrow to warn that supporting Russia would be met with consequences.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide forward Orazio Fantasia admits his return is a long way off as he recovers from a knee injury. The 26-year-old small forward telling David and Will he wants to give himself adequate rest before coming back.
I need to get fit, boys, to be honest. I haven't really done too much running prior to the surgery that I had in February, so I really need to just get fit and probably at least, 6 to 8 weeks of getting fit.
The Power take on Brisbane tomorrow night in their season opener, and Lions captain Dane Zorko says it should be a cracker.
This is an exciting game when we seem to play. Fingers crossed it's not too exciting Saturday night and we can get the win. Certainly a spectacle that certainly needs to be seen because 2 quality teams over the past few years going head-to-head and play exciting brands of footy.
Yeah, can't wait. And Carlton recorded a 25-point win last night against Richmond, with Blues captain Patrick Cripps picking up 30 touches and booting 3 goals. One game in the NBL overnight with the Illawarra Hawks recording a 6-point win against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Maria Sakkari has booked her place in the semi-finals at the Indian Wells Masters, defeating Elena Rybakina in straight sets. Aussie Nick Kyrgios will meet Rafael Nadal this morning. A massive result in the English Premier League with Everton claiming a winner in the 9th minute of stoppage time to beat Newcastle 1-0 and move 3 points clear of the relegation zone. And in some golf to finish, Aussies Jason Day and Mark Hensby have both finished their opening rounds of the Valspar Championship in Florida at 1 under, putting them 6 shots off the lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
We've got power line works this morning at Belair, Main Road near Minalta Drive. Speeds reduced there. Brooklyn Park works on Saldana Rabban Drive, continuing in Marion Road, affecting both directions. And Darlington works on the Flagstaff Road upgrade, continuing near the South Road intersection. Busy, Henley Beach Road on your way into the city. And we've got a few cameras, Murray Street to Nunda and Redbanks Road at Kangaroo Flat. A Porto's double Bondi burger is anything but average with 2 fresh grilled chicken breast fillets, lettuce, cheese, mayo and a Porto's original chili sauce for just $9.95. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, 29 mostly sunny today, sunny tomorrow 31 and on Sunday mostly sunny 30. Right now it's 19 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 9. Meat Tray Friday, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. 4 words to describe your suburb. Got an entry from my mother texted through.
Oh, really?
It's made me raise some questions, and I don't want answers. She said, Westlakes, romp in the swamp. I don't want to explore that any
Romp in
further.
the swamp.
I don't want to explore that any further, but
crikey,
I think it's a worthwhile entry.
Very got a real 70s sort of keys in the fruit bowl.
Well, there's always been rumours about Westlake.
Hoof into the French onion dip. And
David, this is my mother. This is enough. Enough. All right?
I should ask my mum what hers is for Mitchell Park. Well, not Mitchell Park anymore. Hey, I'll like this one. It's the worst. Margaret from Harndorf. Like this, Malcolm. Craigburn, where's the farm?
That's good.
North Adelaide, you can't do that. And Brompton, Crows no-fly zone. That's from Daryl.
That works, hopefully.
A few Crows ones. Another one for North Adelaide. We stopped the Crows. They did.
Yeah.
Which is a natural segue to our next guest.
It certainly is. Should be very delighted with that as well, too. The Lord Mayor of the City of Adelaide, Sandy Vershaw. Lord Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning. I think I've had better segues than that. Thank you.
Sorry, Sandy, I wasn't blaming you. I'll tell you what, though, there's a lot of overlap between the council's role and a lot of the promises that are flying around. Aquatic centres, riverbank arenas, Adelaide 500 car race, the zoo upgrade.
I know, there's so many, and I've been following them very, very closely, not just for the City of Adelaide, but for South Australia. It's been I don't know whether I've just paid more attention to it because I've been homebound for a little while, or whether we've had much more coverage of it. I don't know, but there doesn't seem to be a single day that hasn't gone by without a debate or something going on.
Can I ask, without you, and clearly you're as straight as a die person. I think you're someone who's regarded as just someone who's in there to get the job done and not aligned to either side of politics. But can I ask you, and clearly this is a question with a political taint, the council supports the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, does it not?
So you're quite right. I've never belonged to a political party, and my job is to get the best outcome for the City of Adelaide. So we did vote. There was a vote to support the arena, but it was a support that had conditions around it, which was about no net loss of parklands. And we did the same with the Women's and Children's Hospital and the Transit Hub or the car park, and had an amazing outcome in terms of a land swap for land that had been alienated from parklands that is going to be returned to parklands. And in fact, with that, they reduced the footprint from 15,000 square metres down to 8, and the land swap was about 9,000 square metres, which is going to be landscaped. So this will be a very interesting project if we go ahead, because I will really keep that to the forefront in terms of how do we achieve no net loss of parklands if the arena is going to be built in Helen Mayo. Equally, Lucy Hood through the Labor government has promised that they will return the Helen Mayo to parklands. So there's some very, very interesting sort of diametrically opposed promises in this election.
What about the zoo upgrade? Are we going to Labor? They didn't promise to back that, did they? That was the.
No, they didn't. They didn't come out either way. The African oasis at the zoo is absolutely beautiful. I was privy to having a look at the plans. Elaine, the CEO, had showed them to me a little while ago before the election sort of ramped up, and it really is to open up that southern side, which would be amazing if you think of walking along the Torrens and you'd be able to actually see the giraffes, and I think it would be a really big tourist attraction. I mean, equally there's been some fantastic promises by either side. So, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but obviously we've been focusing on our main streets in terms of, Melbourne Street and Hutt Street and O'Connell Street, and there's been a pledge by the Labor government to put money into a Main Street fund for both Melbourne Street and Hutt Street, and then of course there was the announcement around the project to revitalise the River Torrens by the Premier and Minister Spears. So there's just been some really, I think, really great commitments by both sides.
What about the V8s? Do you think they should come back?
I'm not a fan of the V8. What I have done is I've had conversations with Peter Malinauskas about how we can green the park even if the car race did come back. I guess what I'm concerned about is that the attendance numbers were decreasing a lot. And if we go back to 2020, there was only around 200,000 people, and I think it was the lowest attendance in about 17 years. So that the economic benefit
good luck
dropped.
winning that argument on FIVEAA, Lord Mayor, with respect.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And
only 200,000.
I've put my hand up and said I was a huge fan of Formula One. And in fact, I was part of the broadcast crew that did the Formula One and absolutely loved it. I'm just not a V8 person.
So it's just personal preference.
Sorry?
It's just personal preference. It's not about what's good for the city.
It's personal preference. And, and I think we'll wait and see because there's different ways that races can be done. And, obviously if Labor is successful, they're absolutely determined that the car race will come back. If Liberal is successful, I think we will still have a 500, but it will be at Tailem Bend.
What about the city? We get more people in? Is it starting to get a bit buzzier?
Oh, the city is doing really well. I mean, this weekend, of course, is last weekend of Fringe and Festival, but there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to continue to happen. And we've had this program called East End Unleashed, where we've closed all the roads, and we extended it more this year. So Rundle Street was closed, Ebenezer Varden, and East Terrace, so that people could sort of really use it as piazza, and all of the hospitality was able to spill out. And we had a new one this year called West Village as well. So there was 18 venues and about 400 shows down in the West End, which is fantastic. But we've got the opening of the AFL season this weekend. So we've worked with the Lion and we're closing Jerningham Street in North Adelaide, and we've got big screens and live entertainment and things for the kids. So if people are looking for somewhere to go and, hang out before or after or even during the football this weekend, head to North Adelaide. But we've been watching the traffic. It's been fantastic to have people back in the city, and I think everybody's really been enjoying themselves over the last couple of weeks.
Can you expand on this idea about having e-scooters be about driving on roads and not on the footpath?
Yeah, sure. So we've been reviewing the e-scooters constantly, actually. So what we're trying to do is make sure that they're very popular, particularly this time of year. Lots and lots of people are using it. We're just trying to make sure that people actually, there aren't incidents and that it's done safely. So we are going to we're going to talk to the new Transport Minister, when they're appointed, because we don't have the power to make those legislative changes. So we're going to see whether they can be ridden on roads or in bike lanes.
Do you think that'll be safer than having them drive on footpaths?
Well, I think there are areas within the city where it's too congested for the scooters to be ridden on the footpath, and so it's different areas. We know that we can geofence. We know that we've got speed limiters. It's also people need to understand that buying your own e-scooter is actually not legal at the moment, and it's not. Only the police can actually fine people for improper use. The majority of people are doing the right thing. So
if you could teach people how to just not leave them lying on the ground, that'd be a start as well. Yeah. Unbelievable.
So, we're also looking at what infrastructure we can put in so that, we have parking bays so that, we just really ask people to do the right thing because, then everybody can enjoy it. But if you've got different modes of transport, you have to work out how you can separate those various modes. So at the moment we've got footpaths and bike lanes and bus lanes and, car roads, obviously. But, it's where does the scooter go that's going to cause the least disruption and make it easiest for everybody and safe for everybody. That's really what we're trying to achieve.
Good stuff. Lord Mayor Sandy Verschoor, we always love having you on. Thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Sandy Verschoor. 200,000 people. Not enough.
No, not enough.
Come on. Seriously. There are wholly subsidised arty events in this town that attract dozens of people
I
that
actually
are
think-
still operating.
I think that was a really disappointing moment, actually. Just don't like the cars, but F1's great. I'm sorry. I think it doesn't help the perception. It doesn't help the perception that there is an objection to the V8s based on class grounds.
Totally.
Just don't like it. 200,000. Oh yeah, crowds diminishing to the point of just 200,000 feels like a convenient excuse from people who just don't like it.
There's not many other things in Adelaide that are supported by 200,000 people on a bad weekend.
I increasingly, over the course of this debate, and I'm not a V8 person, I've understood more how those people feel and have been made to feel.
I agree. I totally agree.
By having the audacity to support a very successful event in this town.
And this is the thing, and I touched on it in my column this morning. Adelaide, buzzy, vibey, most livable city in the world. Not everybody wants to go to East End Cellars and have a glass of Chablis and then toddle off to watch some visual installation at a light square art space.
Well, I'll be honest.
Some people want to put on their Holden or their Ford jackets and go, I'm going to go and listen to a car going for 2 days. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Totally. Yeah.
Meant to be the Motor City, Adelaide.
That was ordinary. That was really ordinary. 11 to 9. Let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will. At Brooklyn Park, works on Sir Donald Rabban Drive near Marion Road are affecting both directions. We've got street lighting repairs at Seaton this morning, Tapley's Hill Road near Trimmer Parade. That's affecting traffic as you're heading towards West Lakes Boulevard, and Belair power line work on Main Road near Manouta Drive. Busy Henley Beach Road, East Street to South Road, and look out for a camera at Glenburn Road at Burnside. Need new flooring, blinds or rugs? Earn double Qantas points at Carpet Court. That's across all carpet, hard flooring, blinds and rugs. Double Qantas points on now at Carpet Court. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Have you ever wondered if retirement living would suit you? Come along to an FIVEAA open home and enjoy a sneak peek of the life you could lead. These free events are from the 29th to the 31st of March at 15 FIVEAA communities across Adelaide. You can explore the communities, walk through display homes and chat with our friendly team. Attendees must be vaccinated and all events will operate with a COVID-safe plan. Take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Home today. RSVP is essential.
G'day, it's Jared for Southern Mitsubishi. Thinking Mitsubishi or servicing your existing car? Southern Mitsubishi is your absolute go-to. Their state-of-the-art servicing technology and world-class quality control systems will ensure your vehicle gives you many years of hassle-free motoring pleasure. The same goes for buying a new Mitsubishi. They stock the full range, all designed to thrill. So get in touch with the amazing team at Southern Mitsubishi, 147 Main South Road, Morfettvale, driven by Australian Motors, LVD 80.
It's Kitchen Week at Spartan right now. Kitchen Week is 7 days of store-wide savings across kitchen appliances. Get ovens, cooktops, range hoods, dishwashers and fridges at Adelaide's best prices all week.
We love Spartan. If you're upgrading the heart of your home, save up to 40% on excellent brands like Smeg, Miele, Fisher & Paykel, Asco, AEG, Westinghouse and more.
Spartan Electrical's appliance experts can help you select from the best brands for your kitchen, laundry or outdoor area. They've the experience being family-owned for more than 50 years. That counts. That means they all care.
Yep.
Spartan's Heart of the Home Kitchen Week sale is on right now. Interest-free, Zip and Afterpay are also available.
Shop local, shop Spartan Campbelltown, or the one right next to where I used to live, the excellent one in Torrensville. You better hurry though, because the sale ends on Monday.
Don't just send it, ace it.
If your current job is driving you bonkers, well, get outdoors and hit the road. Here's Chris from ASIC Couriers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Couriers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that'll take you places, get in touch with us at ASIC Couriers. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Make racing even more exciting with Ladbrokes Same Race Multi. Add up to 4 runners to a Same Race Multi and watch your potential payout increase. Ladbroke it with a Same Race Multi. T's and C's apply. See ladbrokes.com.au for details. Gamble responsibly.
We don't just say we're local. We are local. 9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes to 9. We're going to announce a Meat Tray Friday winner in a moment. Thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. David's headline coming up. I'm excited about this to round out the week on Election Eve. But first, let's go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions. They're looking for subcontract drivers right now. Call 13 13 64. That's 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
5AA Weekend Breakfast with Mike Keelan and Angie McBride.
It is 8 minutes or 7 minutes to 7 on this Saturday or Sunday morning or evening. Angie McBride with you, or McTavish and Michael Keelan. Hello, Michael.
Right. Hi, Ange. Very foggy this morning, isn't it?
It is. I thought I was going to see Freddy Krueger on my way in this morning.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I do think that I'm going to be slashed to death on my way into 5AA. So just be careful if you're driving this morning in case you see Freddy Krueger.
Right. And we have some cooking on today's show, haven't we, Ange?
Yes, we have, Michael. And you said to me that I should, because in the past, I've always, because sometimes you think, I don't think I can, because I am a very basic cook. So if I was to go on, I don't think I have because I've found that because there are good and bad cooks. If you were to go on because it would be hard to, because I don't think I could really.
No, we'll be doing that later.
Yes, we will, Michael.
So that's something to look forward to.
Yes, and right now, Michael, we're going to talk to Michaela Cleave, who is a Sydney-based artist. She's got a thing going called Messages of Hope, Messages of Love, and she joins us now to tell us what it's all about. Hello, Michaela.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So tell us about this event.
Well, it's an idea.
And how you came up with the idea.
Yes, it came about.
It is an interesting story.
Yes, well, how it happened.
And I'm sure our listeners would like to hear it.
Yes, I think so. And thank you for having me on. It all started.
Well, we're glad you joined us, aren't we, Michael?
Yeah, we certainly are.
Can you shut up and let me talk?
All right, it's 5 minutes to 9. We've had great fun with this meat tray this morning. Thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher. 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Been asking you to describe your suburb in 4 words. Should we read a couple more and then announce the winner?
I'll tell you what we should read. The switchboard blew up and the V8's people...
Oh, well, let's do that first.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of very negative commentary towards what the Lord Mayor had to say about it. 200,000 racegoers is still a lot bigger number than the promised new events the Liberals said would replace it. Another one here, only 200,000 people to the V8 race. Another person out of touch. This race brings in $41 million, 90,000 room nights, jobs and small business. Rick goes so far as to say the Lord Mayor should resign. I don't know if that's going to happen, but a lot of feeling from people who really missed the race about it. The Meat Tray Friday, like this one, Middleton, middle of the Fleurieu, and it's stunning here today. That's from Mon, on your Mon. Glenelg East, close but not quite. Shall we award the winner?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's award a winner.
It really tickled my fancy, and other people liked it too. I reckon Margaret Harndorf for It Is the Worst. That was superb.
That's
Margaret,
excellent.
You are the winner. Big thanks to Liam at the team at Chanella's, your local butcher. I'm sure being a Harndorf girl, you're down the road fairly frequently, so next time you're in town, there's no sort of time sensitivity with this. I'm sure the people at Chanella's can knock up your meat tray at a time that suits you.
The time for some fuel information. Find the cheapest fuel on the free My RAA app, including where RAA members can save 4 cents a litre. Here's where it's cheap. $2.06.5 the ex-convenience Main North Road, Jeps Cross. $2.09.9 Mogas, McGill Road, McGill. $2.15.9 the Ampol O'Connell Street, North Adelaide. The cheapest diesel around at the moment is the Ampol Cross Keys Road, Cavan, $2.08.9. And I watched with interest in the last hour. The US President Joe Biden's putting pressure on petrol retailers in the United States, gasoline retailers they call them there, to say, hey, the price of oil per barrel has come off. It's now down around, it was about 106 when I looked at West Texas crude a short time ago. It's been around 100. It got up to 128 and the prices haven't dropped down as quickly as they went up when the barrel price went up. And he's putting on pressure here. Reckon it might be time for our politicians to do something similar.
Muscle up.
it's time, because they're not coming down anywhere near proportionate to what we're seeing at the cost.
Don't forget, folks, 10:30 tomorrow night, the election coverage starts here on 5AA and on Facebook Live, and tune in during the Port Brisbane game for updates on the quarter and half time.
Make sure you watch along. It's going to be a graphics spectacular.
Oh, there's graphics. Have we got graphics
Oh
now?
my God, Brooklyn is the graphics maestro.
Well, that's good, because I was worried we're going to have to just bring my kids' texters in and
she's
hold
a
up
superstar.
signs.
Oh no, don't worry about that.
Draw my own
The most professional part of the entire coverage will be graphics. Don't worry about that.
Well, at least part of it will be professional.
Exactly. That's an improvement on previous attempts. Let's have a headline.
Oh, Xi Jinping, why don't you give me a call? Joe Biden's telephone plea to China.
Why don't you give me a call? A musical headline.
Oh, Xi Jinping, why don't you give me a call?
That was your greatest moment yet. I don't know how you top that. Mic drop. Well, let's leave it there then, on a high. Have a great weekend.
Good luck to both the candidates tomorrow. They're both good blokes, Peter Malinauskas and Stephen Marshall. We're lucky to live in a state and a country where our lives do not ultimately depend on what happens tomorrow. Vote early and vote often. We'll see you tomorrow night.